talk to you. Oh, hello there and happy Monday. I would like to talk to you about my friends at Fairlease. Fairlease.org is where I would like you to investigate leasing your next vehicle. Wouldn't you agree, Dan? At Fairlease.org.
There are many instances where leasing can be better than buying.
Many.
Was just talking to one of our advertisers this morning who has a fleet of trucks. He wanted the Fair Lease contact. He's going to give them a call and lease his vehicles for his small business instead of buying. Says that could be much more economical for him. Much more economical,
and also leaves him much more time to tend to that business because he's not spending all day at a dealership.
Yeah.
He's not getting bullied around by some bro hopped up on over-the-counter boner pills.
Go online, bro.
Not at Fairlease. Just go online. Go to fairlease.org. Click Request a Quote. You'll figure it out. Select the Dumb Zone. Make sure that they know that we sent you. Make it easy, but mostly, Blake, make it fair at fairlease.org.
All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. I never listen.
So you say stuff to Blake, and then he doesn't really respond.
What do you want? Yes, make it fair. Back to you.
I just see that we just have a different Blake these days.
I would agree with that.
What do you mean?
Is everything going okay?
It's swimmingly.
I am a guy who, and I'm not going to be the one that brings it up today, but I mean, I've dealt with an erratic coworker in the past and wondered what's going on, and then all of a sudden he's not here for a month. Are you going to be here?
Boy, that sounds nice. Maybe I should.
Or are you going to be with Eddie?
God, I love Eddie. Maybe.
Do you want to feign? So you have a lot going on at home. Is that what's going on? And you want to feign alcoholism just so you can go get a month to get away from it all.
Yeah, I wish I had a cool story. I don't. I'm just late. I was just late today. I'm sorry. Can we start the show? I'm Blake Jones.
Dan McDowell.
I'm Jake Kemp. Yeah.
You know, the what is it? The things that fall off the tree and I blow them off my driveway. The pollen has been really thick these days, but nothing like the tension that is in this room. Right now is this room that we're in. Not at our Fox 4 studios today, although we'll be on Fox 4 TV tonight, taking over the Steve Noviello thing. Last Call with Steve Noviello.
I'm very excited to see that.
We're on there tonight and tomorrow and like the next day and the next day, right?
I think so, yeah.
And I think tomorrow is the Gay Not Gay episode.
Yeah. No, I've always wanted to be a part of a crossover event. You know, like Chicago Med and Fire. But pursuant to the tension, because I did leave for a month, in parentheses 14 shows, I don't really bring things up. So if you want to handle whatever's happening here.
I'm just saying recently it was a little late on Friday and a little late today, and that's the point is if it was if you didn't have an A on every report card before this, I wouldn't even notice your B+. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like you're like the perfect dude, you're always on time, you're way ahead of time, and now that you're like today, it's like, throw me 5 more minutes. It's just an odd situation. Would you agree, Blake? You're a guy who prides yourself on doing things. You know, you can set your watch to Blake.
No, you can't. No,
you really can.
I will be late to my own funeral, as they say. I'm a habitually late person.
But
it's just happening a lot more.
You're in a nasty mood right now.
No, because I'm rushed and I'm stressed and I feel bad that I was late and I make everyone else feel weird. Worst of all, E is probably thinking, I hate this right now.
Well, here's the thing.
He loves this.
The thing about E, and we know E, you don't, which is...
Well, I've talked to E more than you have.
Well, what you would know is that that's not his name, had you been here when he got here.
That's right.
He might want to hide his name.
This is our friend, who's, unless he...
We have a sit-in today. We're high atop my garage.
Maybe Blake's right, and he wants to hide his name.
Do you want to hide your name?
No, I'm Randall.
Yeah, it's Randall.
Okay.
It's our friend Randall. I know the field he works in. It's fascinating.
Yep.
He brought
we got
a
to know
fish.
each other. Yeah, he brought a.
I brought the fish.
The goldfish.
The Fishler.
The Fishler is his name.
That is his name.
All right.
I feel like we're going to learn more about
We
that.
figured he had more bits. Than
He's got a
just-
lot of bits. Yeah.
If you're carrying a fish in somewhere, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, but he's got this name," you're like, "Oh, you're not surprised. You're carrying a fish around."
So that we can tease two closing remarks. What do you do for a job, Randall E, as Blake would disrespectfully term you?
I'm a data scientist in agriculture, and I'm also a volleyball coach.
Data
wow.
scientist in agriculture. What's your degree in?
Geospatial information sciences.
Jeez.
So the thing we were talking about on Friday of how to
But smart people.
like
listen
how
to
is it the bar not just can read?
Like they must be screaming at the radio or whatever.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And we'll learn more about that later. Now that
In the coming-
Blake settled in.
Weeks and months.
It'll be a big factor in everyone's world. So that's behind us.
How you feeling though, Blake? Are you good? Let's do a weekend check. Should we do that?
Sure. There's a big Halo tournament this weekend. The Halo Major.
So he's able to work that in. Yet, I'm so.
Listen, I wouldn't have led with it.
What was I? Okay, you want me to just sit in front of my computer all weekend? Was that the? He should have been grinding film and not filming.
Why
this
were you
thing,
not
or-
throwing a podcast
Yeah,
through a
I should
tire
have
in
been
your
throwing
frame?
a podcast through a tire this weekend.
Why were you not pushing heavy podcasts?
Slaving over Hot Inco.
Okay, so you've watched some people video
Okay,
games.
see, now it's just reduced to where I
What?
don't.
You know,
wanna
if you're
talk
going
about
to
it.
it, let me mention this though.
Yeah.
If you're going to the Halo tournament, you could have taken Elite Rides DFW. That's our big sponsor, travel and transportation sponsor.
Yeah.
Want to call it that? Elite Rides DFW, they've got an app, and they're so awesome. Like, they're great for going to a nice sporting event. They're great for going to a concert. Who is it? Nate Bargatze. I'm already scheduling Elite Rides for my Nate Bargatze concert in the fall.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
I love that.
No, I just bought some tickets to Nate Bargatze, and I was thinking, I got to make this a good night.
You can do that for sure if you're a normal person and you have something coming up in the next couple weeks.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You could also reach out to them at 844-RIDE-DFW.
Yeah.
The promo code is DZ15. That'll get you 15% off your first ride. As Dan said, they do have an app with AI booking. Makes it super easy. So you need a Sprinter jet van, corporate executive shuffle. You know they got that corporate BS going on all over DFW. Somebody's like, hey, find us a ride. Make it an elite ride. Oh, there's also a note here that if you book them to go to a Halo tournament, they will not debate with you whether or not that's a sport or if it's gay. At 844-RIDE-DFW.
And they won't even talk to you about whether, shouldn't you be working on something for your show at home
Nope.
instead of just wasting your time at this Halo tournament?
Nope, they'll just drive you and give you a water. At 844-RIDE-DFW, DZ15, get you a disky.
Jake took alcohol. Maybe I'll do heroin.
What do you mean I took? Oh, you mean I took it off
You
the
claimed
board?
it. I need something to just go away.
I did ask my mom this weekend if she thought she would try heroin if she makes it to 100. And I asked her if she could score heroin. She said she thinks she can get heroin quicker than I could.
I'm not
That's awesome.
going to disagree. Your mom lives in a rent-controlled apartment in like a dying town in the Midwest, so her ability to find opioids.
Not that.
Oh.
It's that she was she
hippie.
worked as a public defender for years. So she has a Rolodex of guys, and then she started telling me tales about this guy that she would call for the heroin who never did drugs, didn't drink, didn't smoke, but he was a heroin dealer.
Wow.
But he had a great roofing business on the side, and
Got to put the money somewhere.
or the heroin business I think was the side.
Yeah.
Because she said she advised him to get a vasectomy because he had like 8 kids from 8 different ladies, and she's like, I'm thinking the root of, you're saying I really need to, I got this child support and this child support, and that's why I'm selling heroin. What if we, go to the root of the problem? We go to the,
That's awesome.
yeah. Anyway, back to your heroin Or do you have you probably have a good weekend check. I'll do mine real quick. My weekend check is never as exciting as you guys. Don't have the kids at home or anything, which leaves me plenty of time to slave over hot, Google sheets and work on setting up our stream for this week. We're doing a live stream on Thursday night for the NFL draft. I think we're starting at 7.
He's going to kill you.
What time does the draft start?
We're just playing around 7. The draft starts at 7.
Let's start at 7.
Okay. I just know you have to be here for it to start. What else did I do? Oh, the one story I did want to tell you. So Friday, and we got a lot of sports to get to, and I can't believe it. Like every day I get slapped in the face about Luka. I think Friday is when the whole Malika Andrews things dropped. And
fun fact about me, I've not watched it.
Okay. Well, at least I have one clip for you.
I just basically was like, look, when this happens on the show, it'll be fresh to me. And other than that, I am not seeking this out.
But apparently, little Kip, who is one of my 2 toy poodles, he's 8 years old. He's got an enlarged heart.
Cares too much.
His liver is also very big, so that's what makes him cough and hack, because apparently these big, giant organs are pushing against his esophagus or something. So anyway, we went to the cardiologist, had to get some kind of a scan on his heart to rule some things out, and he's on some kind of heart medicine. Whatever.
Now, where does that take place?
It was in Flower Mound. I had to drive
They have like
up.
a special? Okay.
Yeah, so it was a half-hour away. And I had to fill out some forms before that. So at the dog cardiologist, anyway, I did note that just like at the doctor's office, but not in every waiting room, they have a couple of seats that are plus-size seats. And I just wondered, is that like a pet owner thing? Like, I'm going to need somewhere bigger to sit than this normal human chair.
Wait, did you say you've seen this in regular waiting rooms?
No, regular. In doctor's offices.
Huh.
But I never really see it in just like at AutoZone or something.
Huh. I've never seen it anywhere.
Okay. It's like there's just regular chairs, and then there's like it's not a double chair, but it's kind of a chair and a half for a bigger human. Anyway, that's one thing I noted. But then I noted also on the appointment registration form, owner, so I wrote my name, first name, Dan, last name, McDowell. Then it said preferred pronoun. She, he, him, they, them, or other. Why? Why do we do that is it because, again, this kind of my pet owner thing, like you ever meet a dog groomer? You might want to know what their preferred pronoun is. So I don't know if
we've highlighted this before at the pet store. So yeah, applies to pet groomer. Not a place where your southern manners of thank you, ma'am, are always going to be comfortable. You're going to give a thank you, man, and immediately, or ma'am, rather, and immediately want it back.
Odd. It's very odd that somehow it just seems pet grooming is a very not really a very diverse area.
No,
it's a very...
It's androgynous females. It's females primarily that seem either...
and I don't get it. Like, I love pets. I like grooming. I just don't know. Where's your manly man? Where's your influencer who's working out in the morning? It just all... They seem...
It's very true.
It's really weird. Anyway, and then at the end of the form, it says... Do you, if CPR is needed to be performed, do you want us to do it? And then you check yes or no. And so the lady got, the tech came out.
The individual, yes.
That worked there. And I was like, well, that seems weird. Like, why would I have to? And she's like, they said, well, I wouldn't do it. I go, wait, like you're saying that, like if I'm saying don't perform CPR, I'm saying just let him die. And she goes, yeah, but I've seen what happens. She goes, at least on people, I've seen what can happen if you perform CPR, like broken ribs and just puncture. And I'm like,
yeah.
But then they'd be a lot like. I go. So then I didn't want to go against what this person would do in their personal life in front of this person. So I said, you know what? I did a quick lie in my head, white lie. I said, this is my daughter's dog. So I think I better put yes, because if I was to put no and they said, well, the reason we didn't perform CPR and save your dog is because you wrote no on this.
Yes, omission and commission.
Because someone said maybe they'd have a broken rib.
Yeah, no, you made the right call. I think they need to review the employee handbook. That was not their role to step in there. And that's the weird thing, too, is I had a tumorous malignant, I had a malignant cancerous tumor. And they said that the only way that I would live is if they took it out. But I was like, isn't that mean I'm going to get cut? So I just didn't do it.
Yeah, there could be blood.
Yeah, they were like, we'll have to cut it.
I get freaked out by that.
That's ridiculous. I'm going to tell you a quick one from my weekend, and we can build to Blake over there.
Okay, well, I was just going to say, just to wrap it up, I finished White Lotus finally. We'll review it tomorrow.
Okay.
You're fully done?
No, I watched all the way up to the finale, and then...
That's really weird.
I know. My wife watched it like while we were away or I was busy, and I was only watching it to hang out with her.
Okay,
and it drove her crazy. She's like, "You don't want to know what happened?" And I thought, "No."
It was such a slow burn, and then the finale actually delivers like really good.
I imagine there's somewhere we've got to have some gunshots from the opening scene of the show, but I just don't care. However, I am interested in what you think about it.
Okay, Roast Twins update. I just want you to know. We have scheduled Roast Twins visit home at the same time. They're going to come back late May. So if anybody has a business or something they want reviewed by the Roast Twins, they will be back in full force. They're going to be here for 7 days together, making all of our lives hell around here.
Okay. Maybe they'd like to come out to an event.
Maybe we'll do just a stream or something. Maybe we'll stream a what's that show they want? Love Island.
Ooh.
We could do that. And then... my one Easter thought. Because on Twitter, if you want to show that you're on board with a religion, you'll do like a little thing, or he is risen, or something like that. Mm-hmm. Has anyone done... Because everybody does bits with everything. Has anyone done a he is risen... but it's Rizzin, and then like a cool picture of Jesus?
I don't know who did it, but I saw one yesterday with the Rizzler, stylized as Christ.
Okay, so it does.
He is risen.
Somebody has put Riz and risen together, and okay, because I was sure I couldn't be the first one, but if I
someone's
if
on
I
that
was,
wall.
Yeah, there are shirts where Jesus is dunking a basketball, and it says he is risen.
Yeah, maybe with Oakley's. Like what Jared Sandler was wearing on yesterday's broadcast. We'll talk to him at 12:15 today. No, I have an Easter thought. I'll save that to the end of mine. I did a Walmart pickup order on Friday, which I have not done in a while. It's been a minute. Walmart, big player in the Easter world when you need to buy a bunch of shit from China. So Walmart pickup order, and the guy comes out Friday evening, and I walk back there. I don't know. It's probably normal. You guys all help, right? You get out, you help them load up. And I don't know why I said this. I find myself doing that a lot lately. Before I was just like half like at the legal limit of alcohol and never wanted to talk to anyone ever at 5 o'clock on Fridays. Just moved through. Now I just said, hey, it's kind of fucked up. They don't have this set up for us to tip you guys. Was that in the first 5 minutes?
No.
I was like, they don't have like a tipping thing. And he's like, I know. He's like, it's really kind of weird, but it is what it is. And he goes,
so you would have to have cash if you wanted to.
Yeah, but like they've got an app. You're entering the pickup on the app. They could easily put a deal in there that said 10, 15, 20 your custom tip. Easily.
Everybody's asking for tips these days.
I say easily. I understand there's an infrastructure in place they would have to build on the back end. They could do it if they wanted to. And the guy goes, my buddy got fired last week for taking a tip.
For taking a tip?
And I was like, where, for real? And he's like, yeah. He's like, lady slid him a 5, and he didn't say anything to him about it. He's like, I don't know if he would have gotten fired if he told him.
Why would you?
I don't know.
Boy, that's just.
I was like,
That's the man.
I know.
Needing control, right? There's no reason that they had to know that.
I know. So that's my story from the front lines of those guys. What I did Saturday night, I watched the weather. And I heard this. Blake, you're really into the new terms they make up on local weather when we have big weather?
Yeah.
I've never heard this one from NBC5's Rick Scott.
Has appeared to spin up southeast of Agnes and southwest of Springtown. That's going to be
Porcupines.
Good. You got listen. We're in the country here, so you're going to clean up with Agnes and Springtown.
Agnes and southwest of Springtown. That's going to be for this storm in Parker County, and most likely it's right here. It's going to be right here on the velocity couplet. See this velocity couplet, we can
the velocity couplet.
What are we doing here, Ricky?
No.
We got a velocity couplet on our hands.
He just made that up. I'm aware of the concept of velocity being involved in the formulation of a tornado, but past that, he's just guessing.
I don't know.
And you can
He
see
sounds
too,
authoritative on
he sounds like he's doing surgery too, as they're zooming in, and he's like, right.
It's going to be right here on the velocity couplet. See this velocity couplet, we can see clearly.
Now you got to watch out for the velocity couplets.
You do singlet, you're mostly fine. But you get 2 of those bad boys.
Locating tornadoes, hook echoes, and velocity couplets.
And you know Rick loves it.
Hook echo.
It's like a guy he knows the fan graphs terms and you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember why that was on. Sports must have just been over. It's probably what it was. The Lakers were getting the piss kicked out of them late in the game, and I was just over there. And then my last thought, Easter. We hosted Easter, and I think we're going to be hosting Easter a lot, I think. Because we like doing it.
You're entertainers.
We are entertainers. The home is set up for it.
Open concept.
Very open concept. Grass, fake as can be. But if we're going to be hosting it, yesterday marks the end of the era where I'm participating in regular Easter. Because we have probably 8 kids between the ages of 3 and 7 or 8. I imagine that'll be growing, or at least those kids will just be getting older, which actually works better with my idea. This just the egg hunt is done.
Oh, really?
We're done with that.
Huh. Do you hide baskets just for your kids?
I did hide baskets for my kids, which I didn't know about hiding baskets.
That's not something you grew up with?
No, we would have a basket like it was Santa.
Okay.
It would just be a basket. But I learned from Bluey about hiding baskets. So I did some clues. And then she found the basket in a different part of the house. But the, quote, egg hunt is basically just your yard, your tree. It's obvious, dude. It's too many eggs. It's 20 eggs a kid. I got 160 eggs in a very medium-sized front yard with
That's kind
two
of
trees.
My old thing of hating the field. Just eggs.
Yeah,
you
like
just go run out there and grab as many as you can. And you could just see them all.
And I didn't know about that. That wasn't around when I was growing up. But then, the churches started doing that. Heck, the White House does it. But what we do now, it pretty much just resembles that. We have too many eggs and not enough space. There's no challenge to it whatsoever. I was packing the eggs on Saturday night so I could sit here and tell you that they are only about quantity, not quality. Nobody wants half the shit that's in those eggs. It would be an egg with 2 jelly beans in it. I'm like, why are we even doing this?
Right.
What is the economy we're participating in right now? Because I'm going to promise you, everyone's just throwing those jelly beans away. Nobody even wants them. It's not even.
And I never did an egg hunt for 8 kids, so that's different. When I had 2 kids.
Yeah. You get crazy with it.
Well, you got whatever. You can go 30 eggs and 2. They're all of 2 color, so 2 of each color.
Right. And you can mix them up.
So that means if you find a dark blue and then you find another dark blue, leave it there because your sister's going to find that sometime.
You can get fun with it.
So that because I've always been of you got to have an equal amount of stuff.
Yeah, we try that. We try that.
We were very socialist in that way. But if you have 8 kids, that'd be kind of tough to police.
It's tough to police.
And then your littlest kid is not going to get as
But
much.
mainly it's also boring.
Yeah.
It's boring, and I feel like the payoff. I'm gonna have field day next year. I'm just gonna create okay, what do we have for resources? You were gonna bring 20 eggs. Let's talk about what we want to get.
So instead, do some different bits.
Yeah, let's do some bits. We've got a backyard. I got throwing nets. I got a soccer goal. Let's do some bits. Let's have a field day and a little competition. Have little teams. Make this fun. The egg hunt it was a waste of time. You pack the eggs the night before, and it's a bunch of shit nobody wants. Then you do the egg hunt. None of the kids actually want to do it because it's just walk out in the front yard and pick them up.
What about Carter?
He would be the one, but
Okay.
I feel like even if yesterday I had been like, hey, we're going to do a deal where you run around that thing, come back, pick this egg up, and put it over there, he would have had more fun.
Yeah, Brooks enjoyed looking for the eggs. So I guess we're still in the...
Did you have a ton of kids?
No, we just did one just for him at the house.
See, that's the thing.
fine.
That's different.
I have to spice
if
it.
you
If
had
this is going
just
to
your
be
2
my
kids,
deal
it'd be all right.
Yeah.
completely.
Because then you wouldn't have to hide 80 eggs.
Yeah.
Right,
so we
but
just-
if I'm going to be doing this, we're going to, I don't know, make it like a decathlon. Get a little rifle.
That's weird that you never did the. I thought everybody did the Easter basket thing.
If we did, I don't remember.
Because I
that
have great
being there.
memories of, turning on the shower in the morning, but then all of a sudden it's on the Easter basket. And I'm like, oh, man, I didn't realize.
Was your bag hid? Or your basket?
We always did eggs.
Eggs, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, no, we hid the whole basket, and then my kids would find out. It only takes a few years, but there's not that many places you can hide a basket. So they're like, they just go over to the dryer. Oh, there it is again.
Yeah, he kind of just doing it for tradition at that point.
Yeah.
Um,
Clayton, you got anything?
Oh, I know he's got something.
Clayton's single guy.
You spend any money on pay-per-view this weekend?
Oh, no, I have Peacock, so I get that set up automatically.
does that mean?
WrestleMania. this
WrestleMania, a
weekend.
big 2-night event.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very rare.
that's your
that it
game?
falls on my birthday, so
That's right. Yesterday was your birthday.
what a
Yeah.
treat.
so
420 birthday, Clayton.
just
Clayton, Jesus, Hitler.
That's right.
posted up on the couch with some Taco Bell from Uber Eats and watched WrestleMania.
I
Watch-
feel like if you looked at Clayton, you'd be like, and then he told you that, you go,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, okay.
Looks like a guy that might watch WrestleMania with Taco Bell from Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Was it a good event?
Night one was great. The triple threat from Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins, masterpiece. 5 stars all across the board. Had a lot of title changes the first night. Really good. Second night, we had the main event with John Cena and Cody Rhodes, and that was meh. It was okay. The Rock wasn't there, and he was very into that storyline, so kind of disappointed not to see him come out. But we got Becky Lynch back.
Yep, of
The
course. I don't know. Becky
So,
Lynch. Oh, I recognize her.
Yeah, well, Ty Walker's in chat. He's enjoying this right now.
Heck
Y'all
yeah.
might not be.
No, I saw it blowing up on Twitter.
But,
I saw
yeah,
Stone
it was
Cold wrecking ATV into the crowd. That was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
Stone Cold did. Stone Cold came in on his signature ATV and got a little reckless. But no, it was good. Good weekend. Yeah, fun times, guys. Y'all are not interested in this at all.
No, I'm listening.
We may not be, but there are tons of people who are. And
I know Ty.
And who? Well, no, I think more than that. I'll go quickly because Jared's waiting by, and Jared, sorry you have to hear this, but yeah, Halo Major, the first one of the season, was this weekend in Arlington at Esports Stadium. So every rejoin was pretty hilarious. Welcome back to Esports Stadium. It's very generic.
What is
Yeah,
that?
It's like a former convention center, isn't it?
Yeah, but this,
Oh,
They
it's
flipped it.
It's just that place
yeah,
across from the ballpark.
yeah,
We've been there
From the-
before.
from the old ballpark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I guess it's just for esports now. And
You're fine.
They've sold the name of the stadium.
Yeah, which I thought
to generic
to
esports.
esports. And it also was funny because they would, I don't know how they have this in their budget, but they would do like the drone flyover of the old convention center. And of course, like all the parking lots are packed because the Rangers are playing the Dodgers this weekend. And so they were giving you the idea that all of these cars were for this Halo tournament. So I was like, I know better.
I love it.
I know better than that. Some Lucas symmetry. So my favorite Halo competitor, whatever, switched teams in the offseason, which just reminded me that you can actually follow the player and not the team. All of these people that traveled into Texas for this event were quickly caught up to how Texas can be. Friday night, a transformer blew, and the entire convention center lost power. And so we were all just there watching, and bam, flip of a switch, lost power, welcome to Texas. The next night, there's a tornado watch. So the next morning on the broadcast, can't believe there were tornadoes in the area. You're not going to believe this. We were in a tornado watch. It's like, yeah.
That's called
welcome.
Friday in April.
Yeah.
We're like called the, what's Rick Mitchell guy?
Velocity couplet.
Yeah. There were some velocity couplets flying around. But yeah, that's all they were talking about. Is I was hunkered in my hotel room. I couldn't believe it. Like, I didn't even know there was one.
Yeah.
That's how little it was on our radar.
So what do they do when the power goes out?
They had to just move.
They had
some
to
stuff
talk
to
to
the
each
next
other
morning,
in real life, and everyone panicked. And
yeah, it was kind of an embarrassing scene, honestly. But got it resolved. Whatever. It was a great tournament, and I don't think we've quite put a word to this yet. But you buy a white Honda Accord, then you notice how many white Honda Accords there are. And I'm wondering if younger broadcasters or inexperienced ones are now looking at Tony Romo as a guide to how to broadcast. Because I only pulled 2 of these. There were tons of it. But here's the Romofication of broadcasters.
There's a lot to love about that listening for Shopify Rebellion, and they are now in a commanding lead. Think how close this was when we went into the listening. It's 42-27 now.
Game has been blown wide open there, and once again, if you're a Shopify Rebellion fan, you love the comms that you're hearing. These guys are so intense.
If you're a fan,
Still a 4-kill game, and you're hoping maybe for a bit more of a comfort zone there if you're a FaZe fan.
God, I hate it.
But the pressure isn't stopping. I like this play from Suppressed.
Yeah, that's tough. I think it's too niche for it to be actually a thing, because I'm pretty sure we're the only ones who notice it, but it drives me crazy. And Romo's not the first one. It's a thing. But
you don't need to say if you're a fan to point it out. You're the announcer.
And if you're an Optic fan, you're a perspective and opinion.
Right.
And in the event that you need to speak in that way, vary it up.
Yeah. But it triggered me. And, you're right. Romo wasn't the first, but he does it a lot.
He does it a lot.
And that's when I started keeping a mark of it.
So do you do the deal, because you're such an old head, where you go into the tournament in person, but you listen to the play-by-play on your...
No, they have it playing through the arena.
Okay.
No, it's...
maybe you synced up your headset like my dad.
No, just give me 15 seconds. So you walk in, there's the main stage on the left where they have the POVs in the middle and the players' cams on the side. Over to the right, they have like secondary tournaments where if you wanted to play Halo 2 or Halo 5 or whatever, there's like a big pit, the Passion Pit, they call it, where everyone is playing. And then you have like a featured side stage where all the other pool play games are going on with the POVs. But it's a cool scene. I took Brooks on Sunday. It was fun.
You went 2 days?
I went 3.
Oh, wow.
I was there every day.
You went Friday after the show?
Yeah. My wife dropped me off at my Halo tournament on Friday evening and then picked me back up. Then, went Saturday and Sunday. I love it, man.
I mean, whatever, dude. You guys do your thing.
I go watch them, and then I think, you know what, I'm going to be better. Then I'll go play and just suck on my own. But it's cool.
It's WrestleMania and a Halo tournament.
Look at us.
Bros over here, dudes.
So today, what are we doing? We're doing Jared now or 12:15? What are we doing? Is he?
He's on now.
Go?
If you're ready for him.
We also have. We're going to do news and all that kind of stuff that we usually do, but Nico Harrison, not the former Tennessee quarterback. That's an interesting story too.
Yeah,
that I might like to get into this week. But that probably won't happen today because Nico Harrison is having a press conference. allowing cameras and microphones. Incredible. At about 1 o'clock. And we're going to carry that and watch it together and just see if there's anything comes of that. But let's say Jared is going to be brought to us by Qualis Roofing. The guys at speaking of storm season, so you might be bothered by storm season, but like Qualis Roofing's like,
wet the beak.
Yeah, they're, and it's going to help you out in the long run because last year the storms came, messed up my roof, and then I got a new roof. And it was covered by insurance. I just had to pay the deductible, and I didn't have to get on the phone. You never deal with the insurance company, and you're on the phone with them, and then, you got to call back, and then you got some wrong. Qualis did all of that for me. They are awesome, man. They've helped out hundreds, possibly thousands of Dumb Zone listeners, and they will help you out as well with roofing services, roof replacement and installation, roof repair. So if you're hit by the storms, I would have Qualis come out and check it out.
QualisGC.com, 817-500-9008, QualisGC.com. You know they have all sorts of offers for Dumb Zone listeners. You get a roof, you get a 690, sign up for inspection, they get you a Dumb Zone item. So hit them up, get that inspection done, and if you got work to be done, they'll do it. QualisGC.com, 817-500-9008.
We're still going with this one.
Just play just that part.
Okay.
What's up, Jared?
Do you read me, Jared?
I got you, Gary.
Hey.
Yay.
What's going on, man?
What's up, guys?
The great Jared Sandler.
You don't have
Texas
your
Rangers.
You don't have your sleeve and your sunglasses on for us today.
Did you like that, or
I did like that.
figured
I
you
did
know?
like that. Swagged out Sunday.
Swagged out Sunday, repping Adolis after his walk off.
Dude.
The muscles aren't the same, but there's a difference. But
I know that you're I think you're very good at not being a homer during your broadcast, but I also know that you're a fired up sports guy like me who just wants to yell "Let's effing go" rather than actually call the game. Especially after the way that yesterday ended up, I feel like Saturday night had to be like as excited as you've been to get a win as possible in the regular season. Like they needed that so bad.
yeah, that's a non-Astros win. Like Josh Smith's walk off last year against the Astros was about. I mean, that's for a September playoffs on the line or playoff positioning on the line type game. That's probably number one in recent years. And yeah, Saturday was really cool. Now, like, it's really weird because externally, I mean, I'm stoic because I'm trying to figure out, all right, hey, this game is now all of a sudden over. What are all the things we need to do to make sure we're having the best post-game show and getting all the stuff ready to go? But like inside, I was so fired up. I actually think, I don't know, I'm pretty sure like I threw my hand up like at the end of Breakfast Club, like when that ball was off the bat, because it was so clear it was gone. So yeah, I mean, it was it's pretty cool, and sometimes it's fun when I don't have to be so even keel and can just enjoy the moment, and I was able to do that then.
Yeah, because after Friday night was the loss with DeGrom, and are we going Yamamoto? Am I correct in saying that properly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
So that's just always one of those deals where you lose the ace duel game one, and you're like, okay, we got to get out of here without the sweep. And then Saturday night there was there a wild pitch? There was an error. How did somebody get? It was late. Before the Adolis put out, before he came up. Saturday night there was. Is that me? Was there a wild pitch? I'm not up. I'm just trying to go back to Saturday night's game. It was the pickoff. The pickoff.
The pickoff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So and that was, I mean, Nathan Eovaldi got the error, but that was on him. Typically in that situation, the first baseman maybe isn't going to hold the runner on as closely or might start and then vacate. And obviously Eovaldi, thought Smith was there. It would have been a balk either way. You can't throw it to first when first base is not occupied by a defensive player. But because the ball got away, the play was able to continue. And then you get the automatic double, which would have
scored that run. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Would have stopped at third, but because the extra base got in a scoring position, was able to score. So, yeah, that would have been crummy. I mean, here's the deal too. Like, the Rangers were awfully close to having 3 outstanding starting pitching performances and come away with no wins.
Yeah.
They have, and oddly, there are only 3 pitchers who have gone 7 innings against the Dodgers. 2 of them are Rangers, DeGrom, and then yesterday Malley, and the Rangers didn't win either of those games. But starting pitching's looking great. Obviously, the bats need to get going, and hopefully, this week on the road they can, because the waiting game is getting a little tougher.
What about the controversy to end last night's game?
So, what did you guys think? Did you think, forget call on field, did you think safe or out?
Well, to me, it looked like he was safe. The tag had come off whenever his leg was off. I mean, I saw what you guys saw, and you guys did a good job of breaking it down. But I don't know. It's for some reason we default to what the call was on the field, and I don't like that.
That's my biggest issue with it. We had a good debate after the game about replay, and Dave came out hard charging, and he's always had this stance. So just to be clear and to be fair to Dave, it was not reactional to last night's call. He's never really been a big fan of replay. Dave, Bassick, and Matt Hicks were all anti-replay. Eric Nadell and I are pro replay. And I'm not going to let a call that doesn't go in my team's favor change my stance on that. But my biggest issue with replay, and not just in baseball but in football as well, and any sport in which the call on the field basically takes priority, is that we give the priority to the call made by the individual who is working with fewer resources or with less of an advantage in making the right call. So the call, to me, call on the field should have no bearing. If you're going to replay the call, then you are now deferring the call to the replay command center. And with all of their angles and slow motion and technology, like, they're going to make the best call. And it might not be 110% conclusive. With the different angles yesterday, you could make an argument that one angle was like pretty clear he was safe, and one angle was, I don't know. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know 110% chance he was safe. I'm pretty sure he was, but it doesn't matter, because that umpire on the field doesn't know either. He's making the best call he can make in that moment. And so I'd rather, if we're just going to, it's the best call you can make in that situation, let the person who's got all the resources make the best call. And if it's, if we know it's 100% right, great. If we don't, whatever, it's still the best call. It's no different than making the best call on the field. So that's my only issue, is that it shouldn't have to trump in certainty the call that was made on the field. I don't like how that impacts anything.
And also, I was listening on the radio call at the time, and whenever it was sent to review, Hicks said, look, the crew chief is at second base. They're not going to overturn, especially his. And so that's 2 factors that lead into the replay that really shouldn't. Like, it should matter who made the call and what the call was on the field. But, I mean, yeah, you guys broke it down wonderfully in the postgame, I thought.
Yeah, I've never heard that before, but that's really...
Yeah.
That's really logical. That's great. That should be the thought of on every replay and across different sports. Why do we always give so much weight to the call on the field?
It's the only thing I can think is, much like with balls and strikes and the human element, it's like an ego thing. That you're still keeping the crew chief or the referee, umpire, whoever involved, in saying, like, ultimately, we're kind of still going with you here.
Yeah.
But
no, I've never heard it broken down like that.
Yeah.
Like, why would you choose the one that is clearly, like, if you were in a vacuum and not, we either let this guy call it in a split second with all this stuff going on around him, or we take the time and we can watch it slow down to the 100th of a second. Okay, yeah, let's go with the guy that's got a bullet flying by his head, and then we'll let his call stand. That's really good.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Sense. And I don't know, I just to be clear, I have zero idea how any of these umpires make some of these calls. Like how could he make that call in that moment from a very specific angle? I mean, it's not easy, and so there shouldn't be any issue with them getting help from technology and making a call, especially in a critical moment that ended the game. Now, I thought Dave made a good point at the end of our discussion last night. It's not like the Rangers were guaranteed to come back and score if that call was overturned, but certainly would have liked to have seen it played out. The one thing I disagreed with on Dave, guys, and Dave's biggest issue is that this is entertainment and replays are not entertaining. And in basketball, I agree. I mean, the NCAA tournament was horrible to watch in the last 2 minutes of a close game because, every play is going to stop and you just hope that there's no whistles, that it's just back and forth. Otherwise you're going to review this. And did it go out of bounds on this, whatever. But I disagree with Dave in that yesterday. I mean, I'm standing there. I'm right next to the Dodgers dugout, getting ready to go on the field for post game, and there's a palpable tension, in the ballpark of what's the call going to be, and we're talking about it. It's a conversation. The guys sitting at the game, what do you think? Safer out, and I don't look at that specific moment as an energy suck. I think that if the call was overturned, that place would have erupted and that would have been really entertaining. Right. And it would have, I disagree. I do think that sometimes replay kind of can bog things down, but I don't think that yesterday's situation was an example of bogging down the entertainment. I actually thought that if anything, it heightens the anticipation of a critical call that could either extend the game and give the Rangers a better opportunity or end the game and, give the Dodgers a win.
Didn't you have some audio on that?
Yeah. Yeah, so I pulled the Raymond post-game rant because
he had a nice rant.
It was awesome. And I even thought, even when Nadell came in and said, well, what about the Galarraga perfect game, that needed replay? And Dave hammered that it's entertainment. We're never going to forget that ending because, there was no replay. But in the post-game, first, I do want to compliment Jared, putting this together, how you marry the worlds together, where the TV voices and the radio voices talk in the postgame, I think is super cool, and it's a super cool feature of Victory Plus. But here's Dave Raymond on.
So for me, it's just another example of what people love to argue about instant replay. If we have the technology, if we have the ability to get it right, then we must. We are obligated to get it right with instant replay. And to that I would say, once again, replay sucked. They did not get it right. And so it's and the only reason is because there are humans on the other side too, right? And nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. Mike's not. Well, Mike's pretty close. But the point is that somebody has to interpret that back there. Yeah. They interpreted wrong as far as I can tell. And so there's still the human element on the other side of it. So the idea that somehow technology and replay fixes everything and now everything's perfect is complete poppycock. They missed it again, in my opinion. And so for that reason, I'm out, as they say on a popular TV show. For that reason, I'm out. Replay stinks. I just don't like it. I've never liked it. It doesn't make this any more enjoyable to me. And it always sucks the air out of the arena when a big moment happens, because you have to replay it. If it's a big moment, you almost instinctively have to replay it. And so then that takes all the energy and the fun out of the big moment. If we're in the entertainment business, get rid of replay. It stinks.
All right.
That is good. I've always, I think you have too, been against the argument that, if it can't get it right 100% of the time, then we just shouldn't have replay.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's getting it right 90% of the time, it is now correcting quite a few. We're better than we were.
I mean, by that same, you're just testing the logical extreme of it. I mean, you could say, well, then why don't we just not have umpires? And the players usually will be honest about it. It'd be obvious most time.
Sure.
You're out. Just go to the dugout. Well, no. Obviously, we're acknowledging we need some safeguards in there, and we will accept the faults of those safeguards. And if we can improve that, why not? But I do understand the play-by-play guy position of like, get this going now.
Get the flow, yeah.
Like there is a thing of sitting there, you know. I mean, we've all been in a situation like that, whether a work situation, whatever. You're like, God, please just move this forward, please. Now I'm losing everything. So that's part of it too.
You're a big fan, Jared, but you hate extra innings, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I loved it, but
Right.
I want the game to end in 9 for sure.
When I was
I'd
a
like to
kid, there could be nothing better than extra innings in the first game of a doubleheader. Because I'm a kid, and I'm like, gosh, I still have 9 more in front of me, but I'm getting these free innings, whereas you're dying. You're like, what are we doing here? I'm not getting paid anything more.
Also, I'll tell you, I much more enjoy extra innings when the Rangers come back to tie the game to send it to extras rather than when they give up a lead in the 9th inning. And then there is a little bit of a difference there.
So as you mentioned, almost got out of the weekend 0-3 with just an insane trio of performances offensively, pitching-wise. But offensively, the struggles continue. It was nice to see Wyatt back out there yesterday, but outside of that, things are still somewhat dire straits here.
Yeah, yesterday was weird, and I'm going to say when you've gotten off to a slow start offensively, no one wants the small victories, right? You just want to see a game where they score 10 runs on like 14 hits and hit the ball out of the yard 3 times. But, we have in baseball all sorts of data, and there is a delineation between the actual result and the expected result based on how hard a ball is hit and stuff like that. And usually you don't see this type of a disparity. Yesterday, the Rangers' expected batting average, I think, was somewhere over 300, while the Dodgers was around 170. And all that, you don't want to get into the weeds on that. That's fine. All that should basically tell you is the Rangers smacked the ball and just got pretty unlucky yesterday. And, it used to be you could watch a game and say that, our team got so unlucky and God, they got whatever. And maybe it was true, maybe it wasn't, but now we actually have like data to support that. And there are times when I walk away from a game and I ask myself, gosh, did the Rangers get lucky or did they get unlucky? And I'll look at some of that stuff. And sometimes, I'll be totally wrong. Sometimes, the hunch was right. But yesterday, the Dodgers really did not get a lot of hard contact at all. And the Rangers did, but they hit the ball right at guys. Think about Josh Young's line out in the 9th inning, for instance. I mean, that ball was smoked. But at the end of the day, too, like I said at the very beginning, at some point you got to start scoring runs, and hopefully Wyatt Langford's return will help. The Rangers, there's a lot you can diagnose with what we're seeing offensively. They're swinging a lot of pitches outside the zone, which doesn't help, and there's a domino effect there. Even if you're not striking out necessarily, and the Rangers aren't striking out a ton, you're allowing for the pitcher to put themselves in leverage positions. Or like, for instance, the Rangers have a pretty high chase rate on 2-0 counts. Well, that's not good for, a few reasons, but just let's take a very specific example. You swing and give the pitcher a strike on a 2-0 count instead of getting ahead 3-0. You're probably saving the pitcher a pitch and a half, per instance, and those things add up. And so maybe it's the difference of Yoshinobu Yamamoto going 6 innings on Friday instead of 7 innings, right? And maybe you get 1 extra inning out of the Dodgers bullpen and not facing a guy who I think is going to win the NL Cy Young, so little things like that add up. And then, there are obviously conversations about, getting the Rangers going in the top half of their order. And, it'll be interesting to see what Bruce Bochy does tomorrow when, open the series against the Athletics. But, they got the horses, right? Josh Young's back now. Josh Smith's hitting well. Wyatt's back. Corey is, hitting everything on the screws. Adolis maybe doesn't have the best batting average, but he's putting together way better plate appearances. They got the guys. It's just a matter of, now starting to put it together. And we're kind of at a point where it's early is kind of in the rear view, and you need to start seeing the results, which has only been saved by the fact that the Rangers are winning games and their pitching has been so good. Their starting pitching has been unreal and they're great in close games. And so that's helped them, put together a nice record, but at some point over the larger sample, they're going to need that offense if they're going to win the division.
Since we talked to you last, we should congratulate the Letty crew. Got some sweepstakes.
Yeah.
Sweepstakes. We have a group of guys who have it packed with their wives where if the Rangers do sweep a series that night, their ode sweepstakes.
Yeah, and obviously, the Adolis walk-off Saturday night to break up the sweep, that keeps you from getting pegged.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's important.
But that, of course, was against the Angels. And I just wondered if you were able to did you interact with Ron Washington at all? Is that fun?
Yeah, I did, and we actually had him on the pregame. It was really cool. David Murphy. One of the things with the pregame that we want to do is not like, hey, this guy does all the interviews, and even if it doesn't make sense. So we had David Murphy interview Wash, which was cool because Murph obviously played for Wash. And now, Dan, I kind of missed the Ron Washington era. My experience with Ron Washington was as a Norm intern, calling Wash once a week, getting him on the line for his weekly show with Norm. But I have gotten to know Wash a little bit over the last few years, and I don't have that same relationship with him that some of the others do because my first year was 2015, which was Banny's first year. Yeah, I mean, he's funny. He still can't pronounce half the people's names, both on his team, and the other team, and it's amazing. I mean, I think he called his catcher Logan O'Hoppe, who's like a really good player. And I heard a story that he didn't actually know Zach Neto, their starting shortstop's first name, until like midway through last year. But he's still got this unbelievable passion, and one day he'll be in the Rangers Hall of Fame, and he'll get a big reception. He's still, guys, like when he's announced after the Angels starting lineup, when Chuck Morgan says something along the lines of, the Angels are managed by Ron Washington or whatever, like you hear a big cheer still. And it's, obviously been several years and several mentions of his name in that ballpark, and it hasn't died down at all.
He's awesome. Yeah. I didn't know if you worked with him, but I just wondered if it's just fun to interact with him, because it was, even to interview him was fun. So
yeah, it is. There are a few managers around the league who you always enjoy seeing. Terry Francona is one of them. I mean, Terry Francona is just a guy. He'll hold court, tell great stories. It's clear why players love him so much. I never thought I would say this, I love talking to AJ Hinch. I think AJ Hinch is one of the brightest baseball minds I've ever had the chance to hear kind of break down decisions and strategy. And I just love getting a chance to talk to him. And I always enjoy hearing from Aaron Boone. The way he navigates that media crew in New York is actually, I think, pretty impressive. Plus, I'm a little biased. He's a USC guy. But AJ Hinch, Ron Washington, Terry Francona, those are three of the best for sure. I was never a huge Joe Madden guy. I think Joe Madden likes the sound of Joe Madden's voice. I'm not saying he's not a good manager, but some people would tell you, oh, Joe Madden, he's the best. He's not like top 5 for me. Some of those other guys would exceed Joe Madden.
Okay.
I was just going to say, I mean, you're not going to bring up his opportunity to spend time with Woody over the weekend? I saw Woody out there. His first base.
Woody was out there, yeah.
Okay.
I was hoping he'd give me the hat for great stats.
He's the hat guy, Dan. We can't just have him come to town and act like he wasn't even here.
Well, were your stats good enough for the hat?
It's not always about that.
I just wanted to test you guys, see if indeed you knew what the origin and what it meant to.
God, we ran that into the ground.
You guys did. Can I tell you? I loved every time you guys played it. It was such a it was such like a non-sports way to describe like how you were picking the player of the game. Not always the guy with the best stat. It was just
gonna be an FU attitude though.
I did see Woody. Every time I see Woody, I really wonder, and this is not a shot at Woody at all, but just in general, what it must be like when you have your run as the manager, you don't have the success that allows you to extend your time. And it's not like it was the end of a long run, right? He never quite was able to have success. And then the first year you're gone, they have the turnaround that they had and win the World Series. Like, yeah. I wonder what that's like to process.
I mean, I know he knows he had some impact on the team that won, or at least that's what I tell myself. Because I'm pretty sure the ticket won Marconi for Station of the Year the year we left.
That's
like
right.
Right after we.
There was only one thing
they
holding it
cleaned
back.
up. There was one thing they hadn't done yet, and they won it the year after they were rid of
I
us.
justified that by saying it was Jake that was holding back the ticket from the Marconi.
That's right,
not
because you
me.
had one.
Right. Well,
Right.
no. I don't know.
Okay.
The point is, I'm just saying it wasn't me. Couldn't have been me. But
No, and there's probably a lot of mental gymnastics in that situation where it's like, oh, but Bruce Bochy had X, Y, and Z, and if I would have had that, Woody's a good guy, and it was good to see him.
He's great. He's the best.
Yeah,
All right. Well, before we let you go,
we gotta do trivia.
Oh, we do have to do
We
trivia.
got to do
Okay.
trivia, and it's brought to you by Ownwell.
Ownwell.
So most Texas counties have a May 15th deadline for the property taxes. Like we just got ours.
Yeah.
In the mail. And what you need to go to is ownwell.com/thedumbzone, and they will take care of that for you. They'll battle for you. And if they can get you any money back, they will take a little slice of that. If they don't get you any money back, they will take zero from you. So you don't have to sign up and pay $5 or pay nothing. It is absolutely free at ownwell.com/thedumbzone.
That's right.
Do you want to add anything
yeah,
to that?
I'll
or no?
add. I just didn't know if Blake had anything to add, but I got an email from Dumbzone.
Have
from
we ever
Ownwell
worked
just
together?
The other day.
Any of us?
No, you're right. It does say 3-minute spot here. Let's go.
All right. It's ownwell.com/thedumbzone. Again,
Blake's been in a really bad mood,
You only
Jared.
pay if they save you money. They'll save about 86% of their customers' money. You sign up, you got a dashboard there, and they will check for things like your phone bill.
Right.
Does your wife love you? All those sorts of things they can check out.
That's right.
At ownwell.com/thedumbzone. So go save some money with those property taxes due for most Texas counties.
So you give trivia online sometimes.
I do.
And you gave one the other day. I don't think you ever gave the answer to because I was thinking about it. 4 players that were all-stars in different seasons at both shortstop and outfield. Because I just saw that and it stuck with me because I'm like, I think Robin Yount for sure. Robin Yount, as many will say. Has to be one, right? Because he won an MVP, I think, in 2 different years.
So there
as
were
a
a lot
center
of
fielder.
there are a lot of guesses, but that is not correct.
Robin Yount is not one of them?
He is not one of them.
He was not an all-star outfielder? An all-star shortstop?
He was not one of them. There are 4. And, and that was like one of the most popular guesses. But yeah, he I guess once he made the move, so he obviously started as a shortstop, but he spent more time as an outfielder. But I guess he never made an all-star team as an outfielder.
Well, that is shocking to me. Was Julio Franco one?
He was not.
Okay. Well, give me the 4 then. This is not the official question for today, right?
No, that's not the official question. So
can you just give me the
Fernando
names and not give me the whole? Okay.
Yeah, Tom Tresh, Mookie Betts, and Ian Desmond, who actually did it with the Rangers.
That
then with the Rangers as an outfielder.
That was kicking around in my head. There was a guy who did this a couple years ago. The Rangers paid him big money for 1 year. Yeah.
Do all your trivia questions include at least one Ranger?
So no, they don't. But there's usually like a relevance to the question. Like, why are we asking? I'm not going to give you guys this question. I'll give you a question we're going to ask on Thursday. I'll post on Thursday, so this can give you a head start to be smart. But tomorrow's question involves left-handed pitchers with the Rangers because Patrick Corbin's pitching. So I try to make it relevant. But no, there's not always a Ranger in the answer.
Okay. God, I think you're wrong on this. You know what? You're not wrong. So, in a year that Robin Yount won the MVP, he did not make the All-Star team.
Yeah, pretty crazy, right?
What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know, Dan.
He was the MVP in 1989. He had moved from shortstop. He was a center fielder, and he did not make the All-Star team. Go ahead, Jared. Today's trivia, and how do people win, Blake? What do we do?
Get in the chat room. First correct answer in the chat will win Rangers tickets.
Okay, so here's the question. The Rangers are playing the Athletics. There are 3 current or former Rangers who hit 100 or more home runs in their career as a member of the Athletics. Who are they? So 3 players who at one point played a regular season game for the Rangers, current or former, but in their career had at least 100 home runs with the Athletics.
Chris Davis.
I think that's right. The one's real easy.
Yeah.
The one who's the ball bounced off his head and over for a home run once, right? Is he one of them?
Did Chris Davis with a K, did that count or no?
Chris Davis, Chris Davis with a K does count.
Okay.
So we just gave 2 of them away?
Yeah, just give me the third answer in the chat. Jared, where are you in Sacramento?
I'm in Sacramento. Yeah, one of them plays for the Rangers now. I don't know if you want to.
Oh. Yeah, we got the right answer in the chat already. Marcus Semien.
There you go.
Ah.
Have you been to the new stadium? Not new.
So yeah, Sutter Health. No, I have not been. That'll be a first for me. We have a bunch of the players. Some of the younger players have been because it is a AAA ballpark in the Pacific Coast League, and the Rangers are in the Pacific Coast League. But I have not been.
Are you gonna miss going to Oakland or no?
I actually liked it. Their food was way better the last few years, but like it's a cool booth setup. You get a great view, and the ballpark has a beautiful playing surface. I liked it there. Now I didn't have to deal with the amenities from like a player standpoint. That for them was definitely not up to snuff, but from our standpoint, I had nothing against it.
All right, well, we'll talk to you next Monday. Great stuff.
Hey, if you see Marcus Semien, just suggest getting on base.
I will pass that message along. Can I sign that off the Dumb Zone?
Yes.
The Dumb Zone?
You may.
Okay.
I'll
pin it on Blake if you ask for a specific name.
Okay.
All right, we'll see you.
All right.
Hey, guys.
Bye, Jared.
There's Jared Sandler. The Sandlot Charities, not named after him, so he says. What do you guys want to do?
By the way, for like that whole interview, I was just imagining Ron Washington having to learn about Andy Pages. Because the Dodgers have an outfielder, Andy Pages, just spelled Pages. And he made like an insane play in Thursday night's game before they played the Rangers, and then he robbed somebody this weekend and I'm just imagining Pages. Say the name Pages.
Do you want to do a little sports?
Of course.
Okay, because
Pages.
Look, we're going to be done with Mavs pretty soon. But we got today's Nico thing. Just after the Mavs got bounced, Jason Kidd talking. I wanted to play you a couple little clips from his post-game press conference. He was asked by Tim McMahon to evaluate their season.
Incredible season. When you look at the injuries that we've had, the change, for us to even be here playing in this game tonight, it's incredible. It just shows the character of that group in that locker room, the fight, being prepared, moving on, learning from our losses and also our wins. An incredible season. With the change and injuries, some would say shouldn't even be here. So give those guys in that locker room a lot of credit.
No.
Jason, how much was the factor to rebound tonight?
I just kept that in because that's funny.
Thank you, Dwayne.
To redirect, gosh, we're kind of talking about the season, and now you can expand on why it's so incredible. And now let's go back to sports for the game. But he was then asked to kind of go back to it, and I just want you, or he wants you to know, a lot of things were wrong this year. The coaching, well, let me watch the coaching film, and I see nothing but good things.
But with all the different pieces that we've had as a staff, I think everyone has done an incredible job to keep these guys prepared and motivated.
Just want you to know.
If you read Tim Cato's article this morning, this might have been in McMahon's a little bit as well, but just they're starting to make it seem like Kidd was, frustrated with Luka, but certainly not real thrilled with the way this shit was thrown in his lap. And, the injuries, which may be partially to blame the training staff or Nico, that Kid is saying, like, I did a pretty good job keeping this thing together for you.
But are we to believe, because I want to believe, or I think Kid's job would be, if he was told, I am on the precipice of a Luka trade, I would like Kid to be the one that grabs Nico by the shoulders and said, absolutely not. What are you doing?
I know.
That is ridiculous. Yes, I am frustrated by him, but come on, dude. It's a Michael Jordan. Right now, the thing is that I was trying to find an analogy this weekend. Just thinking, you bought a lottery ticket and it actually hit, and it's for $10 million, and your wife gave it to her friend for like 10 scratch-offs. Because what if you went, no, you had it already. You already got lucky. Because now you're just dreaming of maybe I could get a player somewhere in the neighborhood of that caliber to build around for the next. You dumped it. It's nonsensical. And I would hope this high basketball IQ Jason Kidd, even Rick Carlisle would have said, no. And Rick Carlisle kind of hated him.
Yeah.
And they hated each other. But I think Rick Carlisle realized, boy, this guy could help me win lots of games, though.
I don't know. There's no way to know, but I think Nico was on a mission that I'm not sure Kid could have stopped him or not.
The more you read, it just feels like it was a.
Yeah, but I also think because Kid is an asshole and probably did no favors as far as endearing himself to Luka, that he's gonna get grouped in here. He walks off the floor both times they played. Luka unfollows him on Instagram, but I don't think it was his idea. I think the way it sounds is that he couldn't stop it. He probably didn't try that hard, but that it was more Nico's idea. Yeah.
I got a couple other little things on this. I'll get to Luka in a second. I feel like there is a mid-20s Dan, or maybe Jake, working for the Mavs, and they're running their Twitter account. And they're also pissed, and they can't believe what has happened. And they're like, oh, but I got to promote my players. So they are on purpose putting out tweets, which is the one that really drew my ire
31
this weekend.
for 3.
Yeah, the whole look at how great Anthony Davis is. They put it out while the Mavs are down 20 in their playoff game.
Yeah.
While that is happening. So if you're a Mavs fan, Romo, if you're a Mavs, because I'm not. If you're a Mavs fan and you're watching Twitter as well, and you're really dejected, you're feeling really bummed out, but you're seeing, yeah, but he's got 30. No? And you're like, I just feel like they're trolling us. I feel like
they're not.
I feel like the Mavs social media is now just doing bits.
They're doing their job that they don't want to do either.
Okay. And the last thing I have is the interview that you didn't watch. This is just a very short clip, but I thought you weren't sad enough today, and so I wanted to just play you. Yes, this dropped right when we stopped, when we got done broadcasting on Friday. I wanted to jump back on the air. Blake was at a Halo tournament, though, so we couldn't do it.
It was pool play.
And so this is Malika Andrews with ESPN. They had a sit-down with Luka. You may or may not have seen it by now, but Luka has the broken phone. He couldn't believe it when he saw that he got traded, and once it was confirmed, he threw his phone and cracked it. And he continues to hold that phone as a reminder. He'll probably be holding it in the trophy or with the trophy, and yeah, these are the two things that, whatever. Anyway, here's just 1 minute of that.
On your way out of Dallas, some pretty pointed criticisms of you on the floor, off of the floor, even about your body.
I mean, it's painful, depends how you take it. Mostly it came from Dallas, so I just didn't want to talk back. But I don't really read that much stuff, and just trying to focus on my journey.
general manager Nico Harrison of the Dallas Mavericks. He had this closed door, no cameras meeting with reporters. The reporter said, "You didn't believe that the team that went to the finals last year with Luka as a centerpiece could contend and continue to contend for championships." And Nico Harrison said, "I'll say this again, defense wins championships." What do you say to that?
It's just sad in the way he's talking right now. I never say anything bad about him, and I just want to move on. The fans, my ex-teammates, I always keep it hard. It's time for me to move on from that.
Have you spoken to Nico Harrison since you left Dallas?
No.
Have you spoken to him on the night that you were traded?
No.
Was your intention to finish your career in Dallas?
Of course. It's an easy question.
Then who told him?
Duffy.
Yeah, his agent. Yeah, pussy for not telling him.
Yeah, you would think, man.
But the whole, just the thought that in his mind he was going to play here forever is what just hurts my soul. Hurts. It's and it's illogical. I realize it. I can still watch him. I'll probably see him more than I could, You're going to see the Lakers all the time, but it's still it's just like a news story is somewhat interesting. But if it's something that happened down the street, it's very interesting to you. You want things to be happening within your orbit, and you're dreaming of hitting the lottery of your sports team, and so it's not logical. It's not logical for me to be so sad about a grown man who's going to make $800 million in his career, and he's fine. He's going to be fine. Everybody's going to be fine. But it still hurts me. And when he said that, it hurt me again. Like every week or so, something new hurts me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't think you have to defend the idea that it sucks or that because he plays for a different team. I mean, he was very involved in the community. It was cool to watch him wear a cowboy hat and cool Southern garb when he got out on Christmas Day in 23. I mean, yeah, it sucks. It sucks that he's not a part of the city. I'm very tired of thinking about it.
It was cool that
let's do it for another hour.
Hang out with Dude Perfect.
We're willing to look past some of these warts in all of our heroes. I don't know what to say, man. It sucks. It sucked Saturday night, even though they were losing. He comes out and scores 16 points in the first quarter, and I'm like, this is what I'm supposed to be watching. They play tomorrow night. They have game 2, and we're all fired up about how does Luka respond in a game 2. Ant's pointed at him. That probably pissed him off. I'm supposed to be being a part of this.
Thing.
Yeah.
He did that.
Last year. I'm supposed to be enjoying this as a Mavs fan. These games would be in Dallas. That's the part that I'm having trouble with is what am I supposed to do for the next couple months? I'm not going to live and die with the Lakers like this. The Stars, very cool, but that doesn't look to be cool. Great right now either. So,
would you trade? So the Luka thing never happened. You know it happened, but no one else does.
Okay.
The whole world doesn't know, but you know, and you've made this deal where we get another COVID into the world. Okay, hold on. Caveat: 1 million people do die again. Okay, but they're all Irish.
How many do they even have?
I don't know.
I couldn't
Irish.
even begin to tell you.
I'm saying it might be me. I might be one of them.
Oh,
so you're taking that risk. It's just you have to be not from Ireland.
Oh, I'd be more comfortable if there were 500
you have to be of Irish descent.
That I don't love because that could, that's probably not good. But if you make
this is the deal you make, and no one else knows. I never know it.
Okay,
and I might end up dying.
But
you'll see me happy with Luka.
It might be the breaking point.
It's what he would have wanted.
No, but if you told me right now it is an island that you could contain it to them, and it's 1 million people who are there right now, because I don't know anybody in Ireland right now.
Of
they
course.
Died right. It's not even a question.
So somehow there was this
basically if just you're safe. Yeah.
There was a localized thing that killed 1 million people
in Ireland.
In Ireland, you'd be like, okay.
And I'm going to be I want to be fair at the table here. Age sliders 0 to 100. Don't need it to be healthy male adults. Fired at babies, women, pregnant. It doesn't matter. not like war age, 1 million people, and I'm not kidding.
What if it was 1 million people?
Because I honestly don't think they would be. I don't know what they're doing up there anyways, and it can't be like that important to where.
Come on.
I love Ireland.
How about this? It's 1 million people, but it's all hot chicks in the United States.
That doesn't affect me at all. That I honestly feel like we could use a little stagflation or whatever.
TikTok would be bankrupt tomorrow.
I don't think that's a problem. I think the surviving influencers would be happy for the thinning of the herd, to be honest. Yeah, it sucks, dude. It sucks. Like, the Stars could be done in a week and a half, and we're just going to be staring at each other like, I know baseball's here, but I don't love you like that.
No, we'll be watching. I did watch the Lakers this weekend.
Yeah, listen, I like watching Luka play, but you think I want to be coming out of a weekend going, boy, I wish I would have got more from LeBron.
Yeah, no, I hate it. It's not right.
I hate it.
It feels weird.
Did you watch the Mavs?
Yeah, I wrote. I stayed up and wrote Friday night.
I was here and there on it, but watching AD airball a 3 and then limp his ass back to the bench, and then they go to Nico all side-eyed.
So did he get injured?
No,
he
was already hurt.
It looks like he pulled something shooting a 3.
No,
that's what I want to believe.
He'd been injured for like 2 possessions and trying to stay out there because something. If you want to talk about, like, not today because we're gonna have to listen to Nico actually talk in like 10 minutes, and I hope everyone's prepared for that. The reason, as Tim points out, both Tims really, the well is poisoned. They can no longer make any proper business or basketball decisions as rational actors because everything is fucked. Like, so AD rushed back too early because he knows, I got to get out there. Like, they're killing Nico over this. Derek Lively was rushing back. Like, every decision they make now is to try to validate a mistake that they made, which is just, that's how things get worse. This is why people get divorced. Is they're like, probably not going to get better. Why don't we cut our losses?
Yeah, I saw
Let's
somebody.
not get a dog or adopt a baby.
I don't know if this is Twitter or whatever, or somebody talking that it was a thing where they're saying if you really wanted Anthony Davis, what if you put together a package? And we've talked about this. Like, what if they did trade Kyrie? But you also included Derek Lively in the package. And I was thinking, the Lakers absolutely do that.
I would not have done that.
And
if I
would
Dallas.
not have wanted to do that's too much for me because you had this young guy. That's the point.
Yeah, but it would have cleared up the position thing.
It would have cleared up the position, and actually, AD was complaining about not having a center in LA.
I know.
You realize that?
I know, and I hate it because he needs to play center. That's his biggest problem. Is he was fit for 12 years ago. Like, he should have been a 4 back then. But anyways, maybe he'll be there today.
Anthony Davis?
I honestly have no idea what this is going to look like today.
I think he's filming today.
Oh, yeah, someone had to fill in for 2 of the jokers that are a little busy these days.
All right, let's take a pee break, and then we'll play hopefully the press conference will be happening after that.
The Dumb Zone. Hey, Claire, did you just get rear-ended by that truck and it wasn't your fault?
I did. Cornelius Falcon, what should I do?
Pick up your phone and start pressing 3s, you ungrateful monster.
Franco and Franco.
You're listening to The Dumb Zone.
All right, Nico started apparently.
AD, PJ, Lively on the floor so that people could see the vision. And unfortunately, that actually never came. So there was never a good time for us to do that.
And Nico, Christian Clark with The Athletic, in the weeks leading up to the trade, how much discussion internally was about just, trading Luka for another player who, up to that point, had missed a lot more time in his career effectively, like trading a guy for a player who I guess was more injury prone. How much did you guys discuss that or think about that?
Yeah, I mean, when you trade a guy of Luka's caliber, you're not taking it lightly. So we discussed everything.
Dumont absolutely told him to get out there and say that today.
Really feel the defense.
Hey, no shitting on Luka today.
And when he had an opportunity to get one of the best two-way players in the league, we jumped at that opportunity.
We're here, Isaac from Lockdown Mavs. When
I'm sorry.
No, my bad. When Luka comes back to town, the Lakers game's happening, and you're standing there and there's thousands of people chanting for you to be fired. That's an experience that none of us, no one's chanting for for us to lose our jobs. Why shouldn't you be fired?
Oh, Isaac. All right.
Well, one, I think I've done a really good job here, and I don't think I can be judged by the injuries this year.
Okay.
From totality, from beginning.
So when injuries happen to Nico, they're luck.
I think
bad
I
luck.
have a
When they
really
happen
good
to
working
Luka,
relationship with Patrick,
it's his fault.
I think you add in Rick. The leadership that we have is really elite. And you'll see next year when our team comes back, we're going to be competing for a championship.
Oh.
It'd be so great if they
Nico,
ran
you
him
say
tomorrow,
repeatedly
made him do this.
to your left, you say repeatedly the defense wins championships.
Somebody did that this year,
Are you
right?
saying it was
Jags?
impossible to build a roster that included Luka Doncic that was strong enough defensively to win a championship?
They finished top 10 last year in defense.
No, I think it's really doubling down on defense. And, like I said, when we had the opportunity to get Anthony Davis, who
should trade
was one of the best
Kyrie
two-way
for
players
Patrick
in the league.
Beverly.
Let's bring up that he's 5 years older, somebody.
Hi, Nico. Joey Mastretta with Clutch Points. Going off that question, you've made it very clear defense wins championships, and that's a very respectable mentality, old basketball saying. Looking at Luka Doncic, he did get this team to the NBA Finals last year. When you look at Luka Doncic, do you consider him a championship-level player?
That's kind of an unfair question. Luka's no longer on this team. But what I am excited about is I do believe we have a championship caliber team. And we'll show that next year.
No, it's a fair question because you traded away that
Mike
guy.
Curtis, Dallas Morning News, piggybacking off that a little bit.
We're piggybacking off
everything. That Dirk is no longer around the franchise. Obviously, Luka isn't a part of the franchise anymore. And they're two figures that mean a lot to this organization and the fan base. Obviously, it's severed right now, just with everything that's happened. Like, I guess, how do you repair the relationship with the fan base going forward?
Well, one, I
would like to keep following up on the
Dirk,
Anthony
so
Davis
it's important
stuff,
to say, he's the single most important figure to the franchise, so that's extremely important.
Who?
I believe winning
Dirk.
will help repair the relationship with the fans, and that's what we plan to do next year.
So he was.
I know you said winning.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
Will repair it, but
that will not repair
have you ever
it.
thought about what if it doesn't?
I'm an optimistic person, and I move by faith, not by fear.
Ooh, little force field.
Yeah.
Nico, Joe Trahan from WFAA. You said earlier you don't like to run from the media, but Nico, I am interested in your reasoning by having that roundtable discussion
because my boss
without
made
any
me.
cameras or audio equipment, and then less than a week later having this meeting that we're in right now. What's your thought process behind doing it that way if you say you don't want to run from the media?
Yeah, no, it was a good question. It was a collective thought process.
My boss.
It was meant to be more of like a roundtable discussion. Clearly, it didn't have the goal that we intended on doing it, so that's why we're coming back here today. The goal was that I answered all the questions today. I could talk about the team as it currently is and then what we do going forward. But because it fell flat today, I'm answering the same questions I answered last week because we didn't do a good enough job. The other part that we really wanted to show is the face of the leadership of the Mavericks going forward, which is Rick and I. And so those were the two goals.
Is part of the reason you're doing this
great.
today because you felt the fan base needed more and there wasn't an adequate response to why you made the deal? Is that why we're sitting here today?
No, it was, well, one, we do this every year. We do exit interviews. It's no different than what we've done in previous years. But because we haven't adequately answered the questions, we figured we would open it up as well right now.
Yes, he's been
And
coached.
Nico, will Anthony Davis need surgery this summer?
No, he won't. He finished the season fine. He feels good.
He looked
about
great
where
the
he's
other
at,
night.
and he'll continue to build and get healthy.
The part where he limped off the
Need
court?
surgery this summer?
I don't believe he will either.
And, you said defense win championships. We saw the Nuggets 2 years ago. I mean, they finished 15th in defense the regular season as kind of the one of the 30 guys who runs an NBA team. What's just your analysis of how, I guess, that Nuggets team won the championship?
I don't want to dismiss your question, but I'm not concerned about the Nuggets. I feel like we have a championship caliber team when we're whole, and we're going to hang our hat on defense. We're going to be one of the best.
See, the
defensive
thing
teams
is,
in
they're
the
going to
league,
have
and I
injury
think that's
excuses
gonna be
next
our
year, too,
contract.
because Kyrie won't start the year.
And
Anthony Davis will get hurt, and they're going to be like, "Oh my gosh!"
You were kicking the idea of this trade
together.
around, and you had various scenarios planned in your head. Did the anger and outrage from the fan base, has that exceeded what you were kind of planning for?
Yeah, good question.
Answer it,
I
you
did
fucking
know
pussy.
that Luka was important to the fan base. I didn't quite know it to what level, but really the way we looked at it is, if you're putting a team on the floor that's Kyrie, Clay, PJ, Anthony Davis, and Lively, we feel that's a championship caliber team, and we would have been winning at a high level, and that would have quieted some of the outrage. And so unfortunately we weren't able to do that, so it just continued to.
Because he's an injury-prone guy who's always injured his whole career.
Why you did the deal? One of them was that you were told to do it. That Mr. Dumont said, "I didn't want to give the Supermax contract, which is obviously very expensive, to Luka." Were you told that you had to trade him?
No, not at all. Patrick reminds me of the leadership that I had at Nike, and a really good leader doesn't tell the people that work for them what to do. It's a collective, well thought out process to make a big move like that. And then also, unfortunately, I'm super stubborn, so someone telling me to do something doesn't work too well for me.
Huh. That's
Nico over
interesting.
here. Speaking of Patrick, has this impacted your relationship with him at all since making the deal? Has this frayed your relationship working with him?
Yeah, it actually strengthened it because we talk a lot more.
That's funny.
We're kind of linked together to this, and so it's made us have to have a lot more conversation. So I believe that we have a really good working relationship. He's came out publicly and supported me, and so I don't take that lightly. And so now I have to deliver on that.
What about you and Jason Kidd?
Nico
You guys
over
have
here.
been close for such. Speaking of Patrick, has this impacted your
What are we doing
relationship with him at all since?
I'm trying to get the video. I'm just syncing it up.
Frayed your
Oh,
relationship
I don't care.
working with him?
I don't care if we have video.
It actually strengthened it.
I might.
Because we talk a lot more, and we're kind of linked together to this, and so it's made us have to have a lot more conversation. So I believe that we have a really good working.
This meeting is being recorded.
He came out publicly and supported me, and so I don't take that lightly. And so now I have to deliver on that.
What about you and Jason Kidd? You guys have been close for such a long time. How involved was he in this deal at the time, and how has this impacted your relationship with him as well?
Yeah, Jason, I've answered this a few times. Jason, I brought him in on the 11th hour. And the reason for that is because
smart.
Constantly during trade deadline, you're having tons of conversations. Most of the stuff never sees the light of day. And so Jason's obligation is to coach the team that he has right there. The last thing I can do is get him distracted by what could be. Jason and I are connected. We have a great relationship. We've had one for 20 years.
That's a horrible relationship if you say his job is just to coach the players I give him.
Yeah.
No.
I'll let him the 11th hour know that I'm trading away the franchise cornerstone without his input.
Not in a positive way. Like, you can really feel how they feel. So, yes, I feel them. How am I doing? I'm good. I said this last week. God's got me covered. I have an amazing family and an amazing support group to get through it. But, no, I absolutely feel it. But I'm also, my job is to make decisions that I feel are in the best interest of this organization, and I got to stand by the decision, and some of them are going to be unpopular, and this was clearly one that's unpopular.
You think?
Nico, you've said over and over about defense wins championships, and you've been here several years with Luka before the trade. I'm wondering and he was pretty much a known product. He was who he was. At what point did you decide that you wanted to try to move him for something different?
Yeah, there was never, it wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back. When you live with someone for 3 years, you get to know their strengths and weaknesses. It was more about a change in philosophy in terms of how can we get a top defensive team that will help us win a championship. Again, this trade may never
with a
even
smaller
happen.
window. I wanted to shrink the window. Like
So
Anthony
that
Davis might have
something that
2
built
years
over,
left.
6 months, 8 months, 9 months.
No, not at all.
Grant Afsa, DallasHoopsJournal.com. Over here. Yeah, right here. The organization had dealt with injuries, long before the trade deadline as well, but traded a healthy player in Quentin Grimes for an injured player in Caleb Martin, and it had hard capped the team at the first apron with 14 players. Did maybe the organization have any takeaways from that going forward about managing the salary cap in season, when injuries kind of mount and you need to sign a 15th player?
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually a great question. We looked at our managing of the salary cap is maximizing it to its full potential. So Caleb was one of the players that we were able to get that would actually just barely fit under the cap and the apron, excuse me. And so we took that and we knew what we were giving up. We knew that we were only going to be able to sign one 10-day. But the chances of 10 players out of 18 available players being hurt, we took that risk to get a player of Caleb who we liked forever. And so we
Boy,
did
that's
it.
the
And
thing.
Now, to your point, did we learn
His
something?
evaluations
Absolutely.
are people I knew previously.
There's scenarios where you can have more than 10 players.
Yeah, I liked him previously.
Which
he knew
doesn't typically
PJ
happen.
previously.
So that will be something
that
we'll
one
keep
paid
in
off.
mind as we move forward.
You know, he dealt with Kyrie previously.
Eddie Sefko,
Winning.
a couple things.
But he's not looking at everybody he knows. He's just looking
lines.
at people he knows.
It was a horrific season for injuries.
Like he knew.
What's your confidence level?
Anthony
your
Davis.
older players who sometimes tend to get injured more or take longer to heal. Your confidence level that this was an aberration.
Well, one, before the trade, 90% of our injuries were contact injuries. So when you have contact injuries, by and large, those are unavoidable. And so it didn't matter if you were young or old. Contact injuries are contact injuries. So we have a great staff. And so I'm extremely optimistic.
What he's doing there is absolving
Next year
himself
we'll go back
while
to
also
the mean.
blaming Luka for his injuries, which are,
really
quote,
good
not contact and can be
Also,
viewed as conditioning. And
what thing or maybe things need to happen in your mind primarily to get this franchise back toward contending status and respectability?
Really, we just need to get healthy. I think the team that we're bringing back is a championship caliber team. And we fully expect to have Kyrie back with us next year when he gets healed from his injury, and we believe we'll compete for a championship.
Yeah, you mentioned Kyrie. What's the pathway to either a contract extension? I know he has a player option, obviously a decision to make, but what's your confidence that something beyond that can get done this summer?
Kyrie is a big part of what our future is.
Of course he is.
That's not going to change.
Boy, he has such leverage over them now.
Yeah.
Rashad Miller, Dallas Weekly. I know in your opening remarks you talked about this offseason, your goals for this offseason, but can you give us kind of what you're going to do for the next 2 or 3 seasons?
Yeah, I mean, our core actually is connected for the next 2 or 3 seasons, so I don't see much movement from our core. I really see how you shape around that.
I mean, you
can't.
You're
Nick Gang said Locked On Mavs. You said that Patrick Dumont initially laughed at you when you brought him the Luka trade. What did you say to convince him to approve it?
It wasn't really it wasn't really a laugh. It was more of a chuckle.
It's the same thing.
But really, it was just I said it out of the blue, and then as we started talking more, I gave him reasoning behind it. And we're a very process-oriented organization, and everything we do is without emotion and goes through the lens of process. And so once we had those substantive discussions, then he saw the vision.
Hey, Christian Clark again. Do you feel like, just to follow up on Mike's question, do you feel like Kyrie opting in is a possibility?
It's too early to speculate what Kyrie's going to do, but
That's
what
not
I
good.
do feel is going to happen. He's going to be a Maverick next year.
And then he's going to be out a significant portion of next season. Do you feel like you guys have to do something to address just creation to get through that time, and how do you go about doing that?
It's half the season.
Well, one, I feel good. You can't replace Kyrie through free agency. He's too good of a player. We have a really deep, versatile bench, and some of those guys will have to create. They'll have to create the void. It's going to be by committee. We'll use free
They
agency.
don't create
and
the
then we'll
void. The
use
void
draft.
is already there.
Nico, Noah Weber from the Smoking Cuban. One thing you said a few minutes ago is you said, me and Coach Kidd are aligned, you know the player that he likes. But when it comes to a trade of this magnitude, obviously, it's the main player that led y'all to the finals last season. So I wanted to ask you, what did that conversation look like at the 11th hour when you told him that y'all would be trading Luka Doncic? And do you think it was fair to him to have y'all's entire team built around Luka, but then in the middle of the season, him having to pivot to a completely different player
It's a good
to
question.
try to make the title run again?
Sure, I think there's some difficulties anytime when you do a trade that big during the middle of the season. I mean, we saw it when we traded for Kyrie a couple years ago. Sometimes trades take a little longer to you to really see like how good of a trade it was. But I also know his
That's a good one.
connectivity to Anthony Davis. He won a championship with him with the Lakers. I know his admiration for him as a defensive player, and so I wasn't worried.
They
about
won
that.
the bubble. Jesus.
LeBron said that was the toughest championship, though.
It was really brief. I just told him the reasoning behind it and let him know, and he understood, and he got geared up to start whiteboarding to get ready to see how we would play with Anthony Davis. I don't think it's about agreeing, but he aligns with how I think in terms of defense wins championships. That's how he feels. So he also aligns with the philosophy of versatile style of play.
I've never hated anyone in sports.
I swear to God, dude. Like I'm trying to. We're recording. We're live. I'm trying to be cool. I don't want to ruin this for everyone.
I would put Art Modell into the NFL Hall of Fame to get Luka back.
I don't even want him back anymore. I just want this guy gone. I hope he gets swept up by a velocity couplet.
The thing is, he should get fired because of the financial impact and
question.
not realize.
Let's see what this was.
And I'm not going to bet against Luka or speak negatively towards him. He's not here anymore.
Little late.
But it's the belief that I have in the guys that are in this locker room.
Yeah.
Nico, Russell Scott, News Radio 1080.
Wow.
KRLD.
Russell Scott?
Did you say you did not foresee the fan reaction with the trade? And what would going public with the trade have done? I don't quite understand. What would have happened if you would have gone public?
No, I said I did see the outrage, just maybe not to the degree that it actually ended up being. But I also think part of that is because we weren't able to put a team on the floor. That was
They could have won every
I
game.
think if we would have put the team that we intended to put on the floor, I think that would have quieted some of the outrage.
Nico, Brad Townsend, Dallas Morning.
He's not wrong.
It's kind of piggyback.
The first 2.5 quarters of the Rockets game was pretty fun.
So during the Western Conference Finals run 3 years ago, and then also during the Finals run, you weren't really out in front of cameras. You were really letting the players and the coaches take the credit. But I wonder if this year has been a lesson to you in terms of, as you put it, being a public face of the franchise, in terms of standing up during times of crisis, and because it feels like this franchise was in crisis mode these last couple of months.
Yeah, it's we always at the end of the year we evaluate everything and what we could have done better, and clearly we could have done a better job with that, and we take that and we own it, and you'll see us be better going forward.
Nico, back here. Sam Gannon, Fox 4. Luka recently did a sit-down with ESPN's Malika Andrews, and he was asked about a question that was posed to you last week about whether or not you believe that you could contend for championships with Luka at the centerpiece. You said defense wins championships. Luka was quoted as saying, "It's just sad the way he's talking right now. I never say anything bad about him, and I just want to move on." How do you react to that quote?
I feel the same way he does. Like, I've actually never spoken ill of Luka at all. And I'm just ready to move on with this team that we have.
Oh, man.
You having fun? There's been quite a bit of speculation that one of the reasons that you made the trade was that you guys just couldn't get along in terms of he saw things and his team saw things that he's going to do it this way, and you wanted him to do it that way. True or not?
No, I worked at Nike for 20 years, and there's like superstars. They have teams around them, and you have to cater to them, and that's part of the job, and they've earned it. So I don't worry about getting along with people. I can work with anybody.
Then the other observation.
He didn't say he got along with him.
But what you got in return. What did you feel like prevented you, and maybe that's the wrong word, from getting more in return when
they
we've
never
seen
did
other
talk
NBA trades?
out the
one that stands to mind is Rudy
what if you made
Gobert.
this public?
What
Yeah, he
Minnesota
wouldn't
gave
answer.
up to acquire him, that you couldn't necessarily get more from Los Angeles than three assets.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is
We got Anthony
and I said
Davis
this
because we
last week,
targeted him.
If you don't value AD as an all NBA player,
Nice job.
We don't.
You know who else
you're not
doesn't?
gonna like the trade.
The league at this
If
point.
you don't like
Oh,
him,
he's top
then
75 though.
There's nothing
The Lakers.
else we get that's going to make you
Like they
excited.
were looking at
value him.
a really down period, dude.
Yeah.
Dylan Reed, ticket in Dallas.
Hey.
Are you worried that the Luka trade is going to hurt you guys in free agent negotiation moving forward? You know, it feels as though, and at least he's highlighted as much, that he feels as though maybe it really was done behind his back. Are you worried that moving forward, other players that come here might think, well, if I go there, what if they trade me without knowing? Is that a concern
Good
you
question
guys have?
just to hear him say
Not
something
at
stupid.
all. When I first got this job here, I was told that the Dallas Mavericks, struggled to get free agents, and one of the things I said is we're going to get free agents. And it's not just about me, but you have Hall of Famer Jason Kidd. You have a bunch of amazing players that, Kyrie Irving, like people.
Well, there was one.
Players wanted to play.
Probably had
in our favor, so I don't worry about getting free
Like
agents.
Clay.
something to do with Kyrie coming here,
Clay.
to be honest. Yeah, for sure.
That had a huge deal.
Rashad Miller.
Kyrie wasn't a free agent.
No, but he also, what do you think the Mavs are on his trade list? No.
Things
Yeah.
like that. But what are some of the worst case scenarios? Like if you can't acquire the assets to build a winning team.
I think we have the assets already. It's just building around them. So I don't. I'm sorry, but I'm not capable of looking at the worst case scenario. It's everything about what we do is about how do we continue to get better. We're coming back already with what we.
Part of everything should be looking at
The
bad case, good case.
To add to that.
In fact, you should probably look at the worst case scenarios harder than
Thank
you
you.
do.
Sure.
Like if it all works out, it's going to be great. You're going to win a
Right.
championship,
He
and
is so glad that's over with.
that was unsatisfying to me.
No.
And I should have known that it would be.
Yeah.
Get your key card. Yeah. Oh, you gotta be, they've already revoked his fob.
She's swamped.
I would have liked to see more. I don't know.
He's not answering a single
More follow up on Anthony Davis and his
Shout out to Isaac, though.
extreme injury history.
Why shouldn't you be fired?
No McMahon there, huh?
McMahon's probably covering playoff games.
Not allowed in the building.
Or after today's, he dropped an article today.
He did.
I have not even finished. I had a Mr. Mom morning with Community Mechanical over here. Give me some PM.
Some preventative maintenance.
That's right.
Okay, all right. I like it.
My HVAC company, but reading a lot of that just seemed to. I mean, it's just detailing how Nico made this whole franchise his own. Like he came in here and methodically, slowly took control of everything. The Cuban sale, of course, happened. But the article starts with when they went to Dirk's Hall of Fame induction. And they kind of flew on that, the private jet with Casey Smith, the trainer, and Scott Tomlin, their PR guy. And Casey Smith was fired right when they got back. And, Tomlin left pretty soon after that, I guess on his own accord, but he didn't like the way the wind was blowing in the building. And Dirk was pretty much just cut out of things. Dirk was not, his input was not required from Nico Harrison. And I'm not saying Dirk is a, basketball analyst or anything, but I think Dirk demands quite a bit of respect. And you at least, I think he's a good sounding board. I think he's, in fact, like kind of, doesn't it seem like morally and everything? I mean, he's the most upstanding. That's why Dirk is so Dirk. He's the guy that you want him in your corner. And if you're a, quote, relationship guy, I would want to establish a relationship with him immediately because I know that's a great way to at least have some kind of a relationship with Luka. Because of Luka, when we had Luka on our show, we had recently had Dirk on. And to soften Luka up, we mentioned that. Said we were just talking to Dirk 3 days ago and blah, blah, blah. And he brightened up. And not that he ever gave us a lot, but he gave us a lot more than he would have based on the fact that, like, we were in Dirk's camp.
They were very close.
And to tell you the truth, it's real easy to be in Dirk's camp because he's a great guy and he's very nice to everybody. So it would have been very easy for Nico to get on Dirk's side. He wouldn't have to do things that Dirk said, but just, it's a Godfather type situation. It's a Mike Reiner at the Ticket when I first started working there. When I first started working at the Ticket, and I met with Bruce Gilbert in an interview, he had me go meet with Mike Reiner. He later would tell me that some of that was just performative. That Mike Reiner was not doing the hiring and firing and could not have, if Bruce wanted to bring me in, Bruce would have brought me in. But it was like an honoring, he's the guy around here. So I want to make him feel good that he's being brought in on this decision. And I want to, I'm just trying to play all angles. And that's what Bruce Gilbert, I always thought was a brilliant, just a people person. Like, he could have been MFing me behind my back, but I always felt like $1 million with that guy. He was always a great motivator. And he just knew how to, he was a relationship guy. Whereas that's what you would do. You come into this franchise, you know what? I'm going to really get in Dirk's good side. And it's easy because Dirk's great. And then you got to do some things that are hard. You got Dirk in your corner. You convince Dirk of something. You don't convince Patrick Dumont of it. I mean, you have to in the end. He's got to sign checks. But I was thinking about Lone Star beer earlier.
Grab one, man.
I might grab a Lone Star beer, but
grab you a Monday Lone Star.
But I'm wearing my Lone Star beer hat. You can get some merch like this at LoneStarBeer.com. 21% off if you use the code DUMBZone. Is that the code?
DUMBZone21.
DUMBZone21. Thank you, Blake. Blake's a red can guy. I'm more of a blue can guy. That is Lone Star Light. And just want to remind you also the bbqdistro.com/top 10. That's where you can vote on who you think the best barbecue joints are. And that's all brought to you from, they're friends with Lone Star Beer. So bbqdistro.com/top 10. See who will make the top 10 barbecue joints list and hit submit. And then you'll be entered to win $2,500 in cash just by entering your prediction. The deadline is May 14th for that. But celebrate the National Beer of Texas, Lone Star Beer. Oh, at the ballpark this year, Globe Life Field, Section 101.
Right when you walk in.
You can get some.
I'm assuming.
You can get some Lone Star Beer. Yeah, 101, right? It's in the beginning.
Yep.
Down low.
Mm-hmm. Wear your Rangers merch, or your Lone Star merch to the Rangers game. DUMBZone21 will get you 21% off that merchandise. It's good stuff. I need to place an order. I still have my promo code active.
News? What are we doing now?
Yeah,
sure. We got other stuff?
Here's Jake with the Dumb Zone News.
Am I up?
Breaking Pope news now.
Anyways, the Pope died. Which is weird because, like, I swear I saw him meet with J.D. Vance, like, Saturday, and then he checked out the next day.
I think he met with him Sunday. Or was it Saturday? I was following it on Twitter because it was like he won't meet with, so, like, a lot of people are MFing the Pope.
That's what I've heard, yeah.
Like, F him, he sucks, because he wouldn't meet with J.D. Vance. And apparently it was because he was literally on his deathbed. He was about to die. And then apparently Vance got his photo op. That's all they wanted. They just wanted a photo op. And, yeah, then he did not live.
Yeah, because it's
this morning, right?
Yes.
Not 420.
No,
he didn't die on Easter.
No. It's funny, too. It was announced by a priest named Kevin Farrell, who's apparently from Dallas. So then all the local...
Farrell on the bench?
Yes. Farrell on the bench. That's right. But the guy was the bishop. Kevin Farrell was the bishop at the Diocese of Dallas in Texas for about a decade. So now we have to do our, I just love the local angle. Like, a guy who just lived in Dallas is the one who announced the death. So your local outlets have to find the local angle.
We care about things that are local. We care, folks.
It's always a tricky situation for the politician, though, especially, I guess really they all play the religious card, be they right or left. It's funny to me when they, disagree with the Pope. That's a tough spot to be in. Because, on one hand, Catholicism has decided, this guy, he means a lot. His opinion, pretty important. And then, the American politician will go meet with him and be like, you're cool and stuff, but also, we think gay people suck. And you don't seem as stoked on that. So we disagree with you.
Yeah, well, we were on board when you were hating on him.
Exactly. That's the thing, is that it's look, we seek your religious counsel when it aligns with...
Look, the Pope is woke.
I guess so.
He's helping poor people and stuff.
The chat says that now we just need to arrange a meeting between J.D. Vance and Nico Harrison.
That's an overworked Twitter joke of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, my Twitter feed's version of it was just have him meet with every octogenarian in Congress, because he appears to, JD, have the ability to knock off 80-year-olds. Did you guys see the news last week that Shannon Sharp of Club Shay Shay, that he is seeking a new podcast deal, which could be 9 figures?
What is 9 figures? Is that 1 million or is that 10 million? Or is it 100 million? 100 million,
100.
right? Okay. Yeah. We got there. Don't look at me.
Well, he is looking for that 9-figure podcast deal. He is facing an 8-figure lawsuit.
Oops.
He was sued yesterday. 13-page civil complaint filed in Nevada. Assault, sexual assault, battery, and sexual battery. Would you guys like to take one guess at the attorney?
Tony Busby.
The Buzzsaw has entered the chat.
He's going against Shannon Sharp.
Damn, he's a busy man.
Yeah. Now, this one's a tricky one, Dan. Real quick. This is a woman that was in a relationship for 2 years with Shannon Sharp.
Is she the girl from the recording?
No, but that
is Joy Taylor?
That is addressed. So if you recall, and I know Dan does not, sometime in the last 6 months to a year, Shannon Sharp accidentally went live on Instagram, and he was fucking.
And not like you and me.
No. No. You don't recognize the activities that he was engaged in.
Really?
And it was pretty much just audio. The phone was on the ground or something. But whatever they were doing...
I haven't done before.
No, that's like me saying I go play football on the weekends in the Grapevine Rec League. No.
I do kind of remember this because then when he got called out on it, he was like, yeah, man.
I'm a dude.
A bone.
Sorry. This was her?
This was not her.
Oh.
But in the complaint, the woman says that when that happened, she began to pull away from Sharp. When she found out that he was nailing another chick on live. And that, her pulling away was met with resistance by Sharp, who then began to harass her after she stopped answering her phone.
Mm.
Now, her attorney has a note in here I believe Donald Trump's attorneys once upon a time would disagree with this, and in fact Dan's maybe as well. It says a woman can say yes to consensual sex with a man 99 times, but when she says no even once, that no means no. Dan. Defendant Sharp, a man who is accustomed to getting what he wants, completely fails to understand this basic concept. He repeatedly threatened, so basically he says that then he caught up with her and forced himself on her.
Yeah, I don't know. There could be some gray in there. We'll never know.
Nope.
So you brought up his media empire. Can I play you a piece of audio that I don't remember exactly what it says, but I remember that I thought it had, there was a relation with us leaving the ticket in this audio. Brian Curtis was talking about Shannon Sharp's media empire apparently back in December, and I cut this audio off and just never played it.
Okay.
Want to do it?
Sure. I'm a big Club Shay Shay fan. I watch his show every now and then.
Let's see what they're saying.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things too where like he's on First Take. So he's also got he's doing his own thing. He owns his own thing. But then he's also got a foot in the other world.
Yeah, man. I mean, I actually, and I'm sure we'll talk about ESPN later. I'm actually kind of shocked too that you can just like, you can have your own business, your own side business at ESPN. Like ESPN has you, and then you have your own side media business. It's kind of interesting.
That all developed after we left ESPN.
Right. I mean, they've come a long way from when I'd have to get permission to go on random podcast here. You know, you can have your own, you can build your own studio and have your own show and talk about things you talk about ESPN on your show. That's the brave new world there. But
okay,
yeah,
I could see that was part of our thing. Was we're seeing the whole media world doing these things to where at least they could have a little side hustle or whatever, and that's what we were looking for. And to be honest, originally the thought was we could start a thing. Maybe we'll put it behind a paywall, maybe not, whatever. But we certainly wouldn't have sold advertising. They could have told us not to do that. But we were just trying to say, you know, we see this world out there. You guys aren't really doing anything with it. You know, you're not podcasting. You're not doing anything. Like, well, what if we, you know, my thing was you can write, Bob can write, other people can do that. I don't write. I don't know how to write. But I could do like another thing, and maybe we'll just do it for fun on the side and let us do it. Well, no, you can't do it in that form. Because, well, why? Well, no, because we pay. Well, no, you pay us just to do the show. I think we should be able to do anything we want on the side. So that was kind of an argument about it. But we were seeing, you know, hey, major media company, this is the way things are going. So we just want to try and get a little side thing. And then if we did the paywall thing, we could pay Blake more, we could pay Ham more, we could pay, you know, and that was part of the negotiations. And it did seem like the local guys were going to be on board with it because they realized, yeah, we don't podcast.
Yeah.
We don't compete against podcasts. When a new podcast drops, we don't have a station meeting saying, hey, man, how are we going to combat this? Never. And until there is one podcast that I think they've talked about it, but until that, there's never we consider podcasting a competition. And in the end, we were proven right in that podcast is not competition. They were arguing that in a court of law, and they're doing fine. They're getting great ratings. We're doing fine. We can all live in this same world because we're not. It's silly. But anyway, that stood out to me back when I heard that in December. Like, man, Shannon Sharp, yeah, that is odd that ESPN didn't used to be allowed to do it, but now you are allowed to do it. And that's what we were trying to bring into this century, that mindset. We were trying to change the way things were done. And I think had the whole station said, yeah, I think we should all be able to do this, I think they might have done that. But they did not, the other people, and I can't criticize them. But that's the way it went down. You know, it wasn't like I got it. We want to do this podcast. Like, it was just we wanted to be able to have a little side hustle.
And like we mentioned earlier, they went on to win a Marconi, and their ratings are better than ever. So
yeah, that's what I say. Yeah, their ratings are good. Like, it's not a competition. It is a what do you call it, Jake? The attention. We're in the attention business. It's just like if we say I was watching White Lotus last night, and you're talking about it on the ticket. Oh wait, but you weren't listening to the ticket? No. You can. We all do lots of different things, and you're hoping that the thing you're in right now will take somebody's attention.
Dallas rapper was shot over the weekend. This is a very interesting story because it's on Fox News' website, Fox 4 News. 2 people, Lake June Road, were shot at 4 a.m. early Sunday morning. Now, the reason that it makes the story is that it does include a Dallas rapper, Beto Rich Ass.
Beto?
BEDORICHASZ.
Yeah, sure enough.
Now, at first I thought the ASZ was possibly going to be Asian, like Beta Rich Asian. I don't know. But I do know that when I Googled this, you just got the normal Fox 4 story about it. Police called, shooting at a gas station, both victims taken to the hospital. One of them, Beto Rich Ass. He posted an Instagram video showing himself bloodied in the back of an ambulance. So he's in the back of the ambulance.
Bloody Beto.
Bloody Beto. And on social media, he was very, Beto, he was cool about it, calling it simply, quote, hood beef. So he posted on, like I said, on Instagram about this, and a local Facebook account called Smash the Topic posted on this about what he said. He said that he was set up by a woman, resulting in over 20 gunshots fired at him and a friend, gunshot wound to the head, and his friend with a bullet lodged in his back. This marks the second time Beto Rich Ass has been shot in the head.
Damn.
Yeah. He got set up by a female.
You would think that's like a lightning thing.
Boy, this video is live. Like, he's in the ambulance, bloodied.
He's just live on IG after the shooting. Like, they've just... Dan, look at this.
He died.
No, did he? No.
Oh, no?
That guy. He's just live on the gram.
Boy, that's a guy who's a gamer.
Let's pull me up, Blake. Let's see what the audio sounds like.
All right, we're going to roll you over real quick, okay? Roll to your left side. I need to check your ass and shit.
Check your ass.
I just got shot in my head. They see it.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm just making sure there ain't nothing else.
Hey, I'll say the word.
I can't breathe.
There you go. Good?
Yeah, we're
I'm
good.
saying, get me right,
Hey,
fool.
give me some of that real quick. 4x4 and some dom. Here you go.
Can't breathe, fool.
He's just on live.
Yep.
You need some alcohol or anything?
Tank. Hey, you got a driver. All righty. Thank you.
I'm saying I can put some over me. Look, I'm finna pass out until I can't breathe.
Don't pass it out.
We done?
You just stay talking to it. Whoa.
Make sure my partner good.
We going to the same place,
Yeah, let's go.
okay?
How old are you?
They are bandaging this man's
Yeah,
head.
I really can't breathe. Put some on my mouth.
Okay.
So I
Hang on
can
one
breathe.
second.
That's probably enough, right?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's just a little hood beef. And then our final story
So
here.
is IG Live the way to go?
For that stuff.
Well, like, because I've always thought if you want to just pop up, you can go pop up. You can do a Twitter thing. Like I've seen Monty
IG
do that.
Live is more the way to go. If you're just trying to go live real quick, people do.
So
IG.
not your YouTube, because we could stream YouTube on the phone real quick.
YouTube is...
Well, that was just a post, though, so I wonder if he was just recording.
He might have been, but IG Live is the way that a single person typically goes live.
That's the way Shannon Sharp's thing was released?
Mm-hmm.
You may have seen this, Dan, on the Today Show via your wife.
Oh, by the way, last week, Mike Tirico was filling in on the Today Show.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently the regular guy was off for the week.
Really funny?
Well, I told my wife, I said, hey, because I see, she was watching it Monday or something. I'm like, hey, if anything happens with this guy, tell me about it because we hate him. He's a dork. She's like, oh, my God, he thinks he's the greatest.
Good, I like that.
Checks out.
She goes, he thinks he is the greatest addition. Like, he's real cocky, and she hates him as well. So it's good to know.
And he didn't try to well, like
reach
while she was backing out for work, he didn't try to reach into the car. No, the story from the Today Show, I've been made aware of a new term. Bird nesting.
What does that mean?
It means when you have kids and you have a house and you and your wife decide you don't want to be together anymore, but you two share the house, so the kids never move.
Okay, well, we've talked about this.
But
I've heard of it from a friend of mine, but he was forced into that situation, which I think ended up being good, by the fact that they had just bought their house. So they had just bought their house, and now they're getting divorced, and they're like, okay, well, this is not going to be great either way. So they took turns living there, and now there's an actual term for this, and like
more people are doing
an accepted thing of like, hey, I'll stay at my mom's house 2 weeks. Sometimes maybe you have to get a small, cheaper apartment, each of you. But in this case, like this guy that they interviewed is a firefighter. So he's like, I don't really need a separate house. Yeah,
that's the thing. The financial problem might be now you need 2 other apartments and not just one.
Right, but if you're in a position with your house, I don't know. The point is that the kids never leave.
And that sounds pretty great.
It does.
Now, you know who it doesn't sound great for? Let's go interview my dad. No, my real dad. Your dad even. Like, my dad might have liked the fact that he saw us every other weekend.
Yeah.
And had the weeks, in between to cultivate the new young hot wife that he ended up with.
Right. Yeah. I mean, even if he was okay,
but now he's got to go live with me for a week, and then live
right
in his little apartment for a week, and now live with us for a week and deal with dads. I don't think now. Does this mean the alimony is less?
Sure. Yeah, I would imagine it would. It would change that entire setup. No.
Yeah. More of a 50-50 type thing.
This is probably a gummy thought, but a buddy of mine sent something to the group chat full of dads the other day that was just like, it's a little odd. I forget how he said it, that right now, like, we're all doing way more than any dad any of us ever had. Like, if you just took the average 30-something dad in 2025, like, it's not even comparable.
Sure.
Yet somehow it feels like all of our kids are this or that or, this never been worse. And it's like, okay. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I definitely know that I'm more involved.
Yeah, no, maybe like.
So kids don't need dad.
Parental involvement is not what we're cracking it up to be. Like, oh, that's so important.
Yeah, you just need the 4 days. You definitely need the other apartment if you're going to bird nest, because you're not going to take your new, younger piece to your house.
Right.
Like, that's not going to happen. So
I wouldn't have met all those boyfriends of my mom.
Yeah.
She would just been tagging them on the other weeks.
My dad had a couple of okay. The worst was when they had a son that sucked. And my brother and I would have to just immediately just body bag this kid and let him know, like.
Could you imagine?
I would have hated
being the guy.
Jake and Joe? That's what you're walking into?
Joe, yes.
That was tough.
At that age.
I would admit it was
like Jake and Joe at this age.
Hostile environment.
Is not great.
Okay, but I did have a thought. We didn't talk about this last week, but I do have, for future Gummy Thoughts or viewer mail, I know that the people have stories like this. I want to hear your best girlfriend's dad stories. Because somehow,
girlfriend's dad.
Your girlfriends throughout your whole life, your interactions with their dad.
Oh,
because everyone
God.
always does like you got a shotgun and Blake's going to beat your ass or whatever. But I started thinking about it because my wife recently watched the Dylan movie on a flight, and I didn't watch it. She's like, I think you'd really like it. She was telling me some of the story, and I'm like, randomly, I actually know a lot about Bob Dylan's life just because there was one girlfriend whose dad was obsessed. And by osmosis, you spend 12 nights or evenings at their house over the summer, and you're like, well, now I know about Arlo and Woody Guthrie and
You're
the
trying
entire.
to suck up to them.
Just some of them are. Most of it, it's cool. You know, I remember one of them that I saw. He was a big Yankees fan. Like, he was an Italian guy from New York, and he didn't know what to make of me, but he would always talk to me about the Yankees. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, dude.
Jeter's awesome.
The next year, I might be having to pretend to be into hunting. We all have those stories where you're like, okay, this guy's into trains. Guess I'm going to hear him out on that for a minute. Anyways, the Pope is dead. There's your news. The Sounder's just so good.
The Dumb Zone News. Like and subscribe.
So Thursday night, we're doing a live stream. True?
True.
7 p.m. Ish. 7 p.m. We're gonna try and do it. We've got some people coming over. We'll have some Lone Star. We'll have. Let's see. We got a big TV. We've got
seems incomplete to
seating.
me.
Oh, and we're gonna have Tito's handmade
Whoa.
vodka.
Now Hell we're yeah. talking.
That's America's favorite vodka for a reason. It's a spirit that knows how to focus on what's important. That's why it comes in a standard bottle with a modest paper label. So all you pay for is the high-quality vodka inside. Tito's, 6 times distilled till it's just right. Naturally gluten-free, Julie. And it mixes with just about anything from the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. We are fired up to be associated with a brand like Tito's because not only is it known for great vodka, but for giving back by teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its communities and do good for dogs. It is the vodka for dog people after all. Find your new favorite cocktail with Tito's by visiting titosvodka.com. I will absolutely have some Tito's on Thursday night. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Incorporated, Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, distilled from corn, copyright 2025, crafted to be savored responsibly.
The Dumb Zone presents Today in History.
Why don't you hop in on this, Randall?
It is Today in History, but I'm going to start with viewer mail birthdays.
He looks like he knows shit.
Randall, for sure. He's got like a degree and stuff.
Some scientists want to know what century he was born in.
Dear Da Vinci of the Dear Da Vinci of the pussy and the Columbus of the cunts.
Just kind of stumbled upon it by accident.
Yeah, well, I mean, he clearly was searching for alliteration with the D, and he was like, all right, female anatomy, can I find a D in here? The answer is, I guess, no.
Went west to head east.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for preaching the superiority of God's gift to the internet Hotmail and its ingenious folder organization. I'm writing to shout out happy birthday to Charlie, the sexy and annoying man-child fool with whom I find myself in situationship fuckathon.
Oh.
This is his Tony Gwynn plus Peyton Manning birthday. I woke him up in that special way. His leaders are Julie Dobbs, Hero Jake, who went to rehab. We both identify as heroes. And Gay Not Gay. If you need an expert on previously being married to a lesbian, he's your guy. It's not me. This is from Sarah. So apparently Charlie was married to a lady who ended up liking ladies.
Okay. But then
Sarah
down
swoops
him a
in.
lady.
She's like, hey.
He's not gay to me.
It's okay, yeah.
I mean, it is kind of, that woman, that new woman does bear some, like, responsibility there of, like, what is this man? Let's get him back to being a man. Because the last woman he went with,
right, she'd rather
left
have
the
a
population. Yeah.
Dear Uncle Vagina Man.
We got some give-ups today, don't we, folks?
It's my brother Travis Green's Bill Bates minus DeMarvion Overshone birthday.
He got it.
He got it.
He is 40. You may remember Travis. He brought you the boys' hats as well as a special gift from Colorado when we did a sit-in back in December. Jake wouldn't remember us. He was too cool for us. He sent KT to sub that day. Travis's leader is Blake's general sense of exasperation and disgust.
Full display today.
Please wish Travis happy birthday. Tell him I love him madly. From Jonathan. Hey, Dan, longtime P1 and DF from Austin. I would have made y'all's show in Austin, but it was far away and I was lazy. Yesterday I turned 50. And if sharing my birthday with Hitler and Columbine wasn't enough, now Jesus is jumping in to steal my spotlight.
Clayton.
Love you long time. Jason in Austin.
Easter's just like Thanksgiving light, huh?
Let's drink.
Yeah.
But there's lots of bits. And you might have to go to church.
Oh, yeah, Thanksgiving's at no church. That's a bad point then. It just felt like everything we were doing yesterday was just Thanksgiving light. Turkey.
All the other stuff just doesn't mix with a church-like holiday, though, does it?
The bits?
Like the eggs and the
bunny.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You had turkey for Easter?
Barbecue turkey.
Yeah, isn't it like
yeah.
ham? Is Easter ham day?
I don't eat ham. But I ordered a turkey.
Shouldn't we
from
eat rabbit?
I love rabbit, if done right. Confit. I don't even know what that is. But I've had it before.
And finally, for birthdays, dear Uncle Flick It or Lick It.
Get TxDOT in here.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Today is my brother Drew's Lusaka Polite birthday.
Wow.
His leaders are Soroy's Hair,
Like 36.
the guy who made Dan's mushroom sandwich, and the Timmy doll from Hawaiian Falls.
Yeah.
More TC, less Akash from Derek.
Guy hadn't been on in like a year.
P.S. Michael Longfellow from SNL. Anybody know who that is?
Yeah, I like that guy. He's good. He was in Oedipal Arrangements.
Michael Longfellow from SNL looks like a young Jake. Do we see that?
I can see that, yeah. Oh, but I'm not allowed to say that anybody looks like me lest I hear about it for the next.
Well, it's always like the hottest guy in Hollywood that you
I don't know
mention.
that he's the hottest guy. He just looks like a ghoul, like a tall, dark-haired ghoul.
Speaking of the hottest guy in Hollywood, that Schwarzenegger's kid. I was just talking that out after watching White Lotus. Like, I think you've said it. He's going to be in the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
We will die, and he'll be doing buddy cop films with Jack Quaid. Do you know Jack Quaid? You're going to.
Is he Randy
was in The
Quaid's
Boys.
son or something?
The other Quaid, Dennis Quaid's
Dennis,
son.
okay.
He has some of Dennis Quaid's.
Oh, okay. I've seen this.
He's
fellow.
giving Dennis Quaid
Yeah.
when you watch him, and he's very good. And these are two guys that you're going to see a lot of in the coming years.
Yeah.
Just you're not going to, and then Schwarzenegger's going to have an even hotter kid. Like, it's going to be amazing the kind of humans we're going to have in like 50, 70 years.
Dude, you just gotta. It's right now. It's all about Baron and Archangel, our future overlords.
That's right, Baron. Baron will give him the Presidential Medal of Freedom or whatever.
Michael Longfellow looks like if Jake went to like St. Mark's.
That's a good call. Yeah,
Track.
a little more like I know what cotillion is or something.
I want to get to today in history, but I also want to remind everybody we got that Lucy code out there. Dumb Zone.
Where's my Lucy? I got some on me right now.
Lucy.co.
They don't even need the M.
Right. They're going to save you so much time you don't have to type in the M for .com.
A lot of people were getting hung up.
So Lucy is the nicotine pouches, tobacco-free. If you don't like the dirtiness of the brownness of the tobacco, how about a nice, sweet, clean Lucy? They even got some, like, flavors.
They do. They've got flavors. They've got the breakers. I'm an apple ice guy. I got another one here right now. What are we going here? Wintergreen.
They got mint, mango,
They
berry,
call it, but
citrus.
they just call it int and ango, though.
Because they take the M's away?
Yeah, they're just here to... I don't know. They're probably going to hate this spot, but it's lucy.co/dumbzone. I'm a big fan. Got the 4s, the 8s, the 12s. Good for a little midday slump. Maybe you're out at the golf course doing deals, Blake. Lucy.co/dumbzone. Get you 20% off. It's good stuff. The big tobacco. That's what I think of when I think of those other pouches. I've had them. They're disgusting. They really are. These are much, much better. Get 20% off and enjoy your Lucy.co. Did you have something to add?
No,
here comes a fine
disclaimer.
print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, Blake, this product does contain nicotine.
Mm-hmm.
Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Back to you.
Speaking of saving time with the M, I can't tell if I've been ball sacked or not, but apparently Dan saying please and thank you to AI costs and wastes millions of dollars.
There's no way that's true.
Just because it has to compute, oh, this dork had just told me thank you, now I have to say you're welcome. And that's just a waste of time and resources.
Explain how that costs millions of dollars.
Because it's an extra computing prompt that they have to go through just by you saying thank you. That's
But you're
unnecessary.
saying millions of people are doing that.
Yes, it adds up.
And it was 50 cents it cost.
Sure. Or something.
And 2 million people have done it. That's okay.
And also the problem is
I don't believe that, by the way.
If you ask
It was in Yahoo.
Chat, they'll be like, no. Like if you ask Chat GPT, is this a pain for you? Is it hard for you? They'll be like,
No,
I
I can
like
do
it.
anything.
I actually like doing it.
Yeah, because they're not having to pay for it.
Isn't that then learning human behavior, and that's what it's all about?
That we're idiots?
No, but it's
Saying
just
thank you to a robot?
Yes, it's learning, this is how humans act. They act polite. We shouldn't say thank you to each other, really. We're just here for for information.
But it makes another person feel good.
Well, we're teaching the robot, hey, it's making us feel good to say thank you.
I think it's awesome, by the way, that we live in the world where, so you create this technology, right? And you're the oracle of, Sam Altman's basically God for creating OpenAI, right? So you create this thing, you completely release it to the public, you don't tell them how to use it at all, and then afterward you're like, can you guys please stop saying thanks and you're welcome to it? It's costing me millions in computational power. You fucking moron. You made the technology. You just gave it to the public, and then you're like, what are we doing? You think I know how to talk to a robot and how much it costs? I don't know.
I'm just a guy who says thank you.
I try to.
That's my biggest fault.
Yeah, mainly just because I don't want to end up with mushrooms only on my sandwich. That's the only reason.
So today is Monday, April 21st. On this day in 1836, an army of Texans led by Sam Houston defeated the Mexicans at San Jacinto, assuring Texas independence. So this is not the Alamo one where...
No.
Is this the one where we caught them during their siesta?
This is the one that did not do any work to erase the racial stereotypes that I was taught as a child. I'm like, hold on.
Home.
You're telling me the real end of this story is that we killed all these Mexicans while they were taking a midday nap. You're positive my uncle didn't just write the end of this story?
On this day in 1972, the Texas Rangers beat the Angels 7-6 for the first game at Old Arlington Stadium ever.
Yeah, man.
You ever been there? You been there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Never went.
I thought you're a baseball fan.
Well, the Temple opened in 94?
Yeah.
When were you born?
91.
Thought you're a baseball fan. On this day in 1980, it is when Rosie Ruiz...
Oh, hell yeah. She should have used 844 Ride DFW.
was the first woman to cross the finish line at the Boston Marathon, but exposed later as a fraud. But you always remember Rosie Ruiz's name. No one remembers Jacqueline Garreau.
No.
She actually won the race. So, thumbs up, Rosie. Is she still kicking around?
Yeah, I think so.
She's alive?
Oh, no, 2019. Excuse me. I know I'd watched an interview that she did like late. She continued to claim that she ran the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah.
On this day in 2013, the first ever 900 series in Professional Bowlers Association history.
Wow. Okay.
3 straight perfect games. Joe Scarborough is the man who did this. He was a 50-year-old self-employed electrical contractor. Is bowling a sport?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I don't think so.
Do you think he profited significantly or at all?
I'd say at all.
But not...
But significantly?
Oh, my God.
Well, let's look up Joe Scarborough.
He looks exactly like you think he does. I mean, I don't know if flipping the computer around is the preferred method.
But he looks like a bowler.
This is Joe Scarborough, folks.
Yeah.
The goatee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goatee, little jowly.
Hey, do you still have that bowling shirt from Cleveland?
Yeah.
That's cool.
The one I found in the laundry room?
Yeah.
The basement? Yeah, of course.
2018. A death occurred, ruled suicide by alcohol intoxication. I don't know how you can rule that.
What do you mean? Oh, like how you can determine that it wasn't a accidental. That's a good point.
I just drank a ton, and I always drink a ton, and now I drank a little bit too much.
Yeah, unless you leave a note.
Is suicide always intentional?
Ooh, that's a good point.
I mean, you killed yourself. So did they ever say suicide by cocaine?
Like it was an accident.
Well, yeah, that's what. Like if you
accidental suicide, but you did it.
If you fall off a ladder, that is suicide.
Because I could see how you could accidentally have something shoved up your behind. I mean, I fell down and I was in the shower.
And it was on and set to never turn off.
Yeah,
continue at full power.
The Matchbox car.
Accidents happen. There are small oversights.
We have a candle in the shower. It's in the bathroom, and I was on my way to the shower, and I tripped.
That's such a funny scenario to imagine. Is like somebody sets up like the most intricate "please do not save me" like suicide possible. It's like a Rube Goldberg machine.
You
Like
need to do perfect on it.
Exactly, and then at the end, people are like he slipped.
Anyway, 2018, the death by suicide by alcohol. It was 49-year-old Vern Troyer.
Friend of celebrity wife swap. What did he
Who
have?
Did he swap with?
Didn't he just?
Heinz Ward.
I don't know. It is very funny to imagine him having like a little thimble of wine and dying. He's like, "Oh, I overdid it."
Right.
That honestly does sound. I mean, obviously his life was very tragic and sad. Through one lens, but through the other, it's like he kind of had the best version of that life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Think of all the other guys like him.
Thank you.
And on this day in 2022, CNN.
Please tell me this is. Yeah, I'm gonna find it.
CNN shut down the CNN Plus streaming service less than a month after launch.
Oh.
On this day. What were you thinking?
Russian invasion?
Yeah.
Birthdays today. We're going to say celebrity birthdays brought to us by Frankel & Frankel, our personal injury attorneys. Don't forget, 214 or 817, and then dial all threes if you get in an accident. That's a bad bit. We don't want you to get in an accident. Well,
I mean,
I don't want to say we don't want you to get in an accident.
My position,
I want you to
neutral.
Get what's coming to you, what you deserve. Money.
That's right.
And the way you're going to do that is by calling Frankel & Frankel, if indeed you have a personal injury sitch. So please support Frankel & Frankel. If you care about us, you might go ahead and get yourself like a misery hobbling or something and then sue somebody over it. You know, I don't know.
Hey, I'm going to go a step further. I'm going to say that if you caused the accident, let's just get out in front of this thing and tell the other person, hey, just call the Frankels.
Right. Why don't you do that? Then you're helping us out.
Yeah.
Now, you might get sued, and you're going to lose a lot of money because the Frankels will get it.
you're probably going to lose it all.
Yeah. That's how good the Frankels are.
This could be the
But
end
if
of
you do that for us, we'll give you a free subscription.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay, just a sit-in, not a subscription.
Yeah. You can visit Fox if you cause a car accident today.
Sitting in your cell.
That's right. We'll come visit you.
Oh, that's right, yeah. We'll do a remote at your cell.
It's all threes, remember.
All right, today's celebrity birthdays, Jack Leiter, 25. Ed Belfour,
He's
60.
close to coming back, I
Looking
think.
good. Yeah, maybe next time through.
Tony Romo, 45. What? Why the sigh? Again, exasperated, this guy.
I just loved him so much as a quarterback here, and then it's just been downhill ever since. It kind of sucks now.
Jesse Roscoe, 68.
Who's that? The pitcher?
Pitcher. Cadillac Williams, 43.
Dude.
Auburn.
Oh, of course. With Bentley?
Brutus Beefcake is 68.
What?
Says here, professional wrestler.
I think that missed me.
Brutus Beefcake. Rob Riggle is 55.
Pow.
He's a Marine.
In the face.
What a weak pow.
You know what? I would expect nothing else today.
Just an exasperated pow. You're not even into that.
Pow. Pow.
In the face.
Kobe.
You ever thought what Blake is like when it comes to making love time? Like she's
not
all
a lot
horny
of
and stuff. He's like,
Listen,
yeah,
a lot
right.
of people have.
I have a
Okay.
lot of questions about just
All right.
him. Again, my
Fine.
wife asked me, like, what's going on with Blake? You guys still friends?
I'll put it in you.
And I sadly look out the window and say, I don't know.
All right.
No, you put
Turn
it.
you over.
You put it in.
Like he's just laying there.
Too long.
I can tell you what he doesn't have to do at home, what he did when he got here today and said, put 5 more minutes on the clock.
Hey.
Because he's already come.
She's doing a world according to Garp thing with him.
Don't get it?
I do.
Thanks, bro. She has to impregnate herself, basically. Patty Lupone is 76. That's Corky's mom, and life goes on.
Okay. Yeah, what do we got? Again, key grip. Do we have the...
Do you think we should? No, she was a main...
You what?
She's very famous,
Craft
Patty Lupone.
Craft
Look up Patty
Services.
Lupone. She's very famous.
Season 1 of Life Goes On.
Tony Danza is 74.
You know, there was a time when I kind of thought that he was basically Harrison Ford. Like when I was a kid and I watched, Who's
Like
the
he's
Boss
so
is on.
big.
He was in a couple movies. I was like, okay, this is just the top American
International
celebrity.
superstar.
Yeah.
Andy
Former Major
McDowell
leaguer.
is 67. Robert Smith, 66.
Boy,
the rocker.
Gordon.
I like some Cure songs, but you got to be careful. You never want to go full Cure.
And our Jake birthday of the day.
Also retired way too young.
77 years old today.
Vikings running back.
Gary Condit.
Wow.
77.
How could one Chandra be so Levy?
Is he one of the guys that was happy about 9/11?
Very. Very. I think that the cover story, because if you remember, 9/11 was a Tuesday. And one of the big stories that Monday was Gary Condit, congressperson from California, I want to say. He had an intern that was missing. And all signs were pointing to Condit. But much like the second half of the Jim Brown interview on Bad Radio, that story never really saw the light of day again.
Weren't we going to play that at some point?
The second half of the Jim Brown interview?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I could ever find it, I'll play it. Which might require me looking for it again as well. Born on this day, now dead, Ken Caminiti.
Roids.
Mm-hmm.
And Queen Elizabeth.
Did he die from roids? Like, was it because he's 41, right? Was it something related to that?
Also, Tavares Jackson.
He was a Ranger for 1 year, right?
Yeah?
2001.
Okay. Dead on this day, still dead.
Tavares Jackson on the death team?
Oh, man, that's a stacked position.
Yeah, he might have to.
He died at age 40.
Play special teams.
37.
Yeah, I mean, he's an option.
The death team,
Did
you
he
have
start-
to.
I swear he started a playoff game.
Damn, he died in a car wreck doing 70 and a 30.
That's a Blake-ass death right there.
You will. So, the death team, you are the age and ability you were when you died.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a practice squad.
Which is why that Chiefs linebacker is the captain of our defense.
Javon Belcher?
Yeah.
He's going to be up there.
He killed himself, right?
He did.
In front of Scott Pioli?
Mm-hmm. Now, those we call suicides, Randall.
Fair.
Dead on the Stay Still Dead. You have
No
Michelle
debate.
McNamara. She tracked the Golden State Killer.
Wait.
Married to what's her name? What's his name? It was her birthday last week.
Okay.
Prince died on this day, and dead on this day in 1996, Jimmy the Greek.
Maybe didn't communicate his ideas as clearly
Was today in history.
as he intended to. Or maybe he did.
You know, before closing remarks with not Eric over here, we thought his name was Eric
Shout out, Eric.
when he got here. Same last name. We should remind you and everybody, not Eric, that we're going to be out at the Byron Nelson. At the behest, actually, of Tito's. Handmade vodka.
That is
Can you
correct.
confirm or deny this, one Jake Kemp?
I can confirm it for you. It would be a lot easier if I pulled up the specific email to confirm it. But you know what? It's all good. We're going to be out there at the Byron on May 1st. Oh, no.
2nd.
2nd. Excuse me. May 2nd. We'll be out there in the afternoon. The Soroys will be out there. The Mom Game will be out there with us. So come check us out that day. Like I said, Tito's will be there. You can raise up a nice infusion. Tito's Infusion that day will be near the 17th. So come check us out. Come say hey to the Soroys. Come say hey to the Mom Game. At the CJ Cup at the Byron Nelson, we'll be there May 1st. Tickets are $75. Kids under 15 get in for free with a ticketed adult. So come see us at the Byron Nelson that day. The CJ Cup, Byron Nelson.
So closing remarks. Yeah, I was looking through old emails. So what's your name? Morris, right?
Yeah, Randall Morris.
But your email address is like eMorris, and I will search like Morris.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone named Eric Morris also has emailed a couple times. And then he walked in, and I thought his name was Eric. And I was upset because Eric Morris has emailed some really good emails in the past.
That's who I thought we were meeting today.
And
When
I was
saw it on
excited.
there. I was like, oh, Eric Morris. Okay, yeah, I've been emailing him
I was
for a while.
excited to, but then I did see that Randall Morris did email us in August of 2024 to, do you want me to read it or do you want to tell the class? Do you remember?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. I am one of the top 75 emailers of all time, though.
This is never be
You're forgetting
always
that.
in a trade.
Well, it started out, Hail Lord of the Bacon Drawer.
Yeah.
Okay. That was me, yeah.
This is moosing related.
Okay.
So it was when the moosing craze was taking root.
Sure.
And you felt like this is the one email he's ever sent me.
Yeah. Listens every day. Nothing
imagine-
nothing
most-
really. Luca stuff.
Most people listen and never email. And that's fine. That's me. I do not interact with the media that I ingest. I just ingest it, and it's a one-way ticket here. But some people will email a lot, whatever. You said one time something struck you, and it was about moosing. And he says, if you do it in the butt while moosing, it's called boosing, as in caboosing.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And he said, this is the this
What's
is
your
when
job?
I will.
What's your job again?
He's a data scientist.
He's like, this is when I will. Was it okay that I read that?
I guess so, yeah.
Because we could dump it.
No, that's
we
great.
can.
No, I wrote it.
You did write it, but just of all the things we've ever done.
Yeah. I heard you guys talking about the transitioning athletes, and I think it's a little more complex than your
Right.
Oh, you guys, I know that you joke about the Israel thing. I actually could explain some. No, it's moosing to caboosing.
And look at how it paid off.
Yeah, no,
It has.
but also look how pleased with himself he is.
Yeah.
Well, it
he should
wasn't
be.
that great. It took the sit-in to get it on the air.
Oh, he remembers you didn't read it.
Oh.
I'm not Eric, by the way. So.
So what's your bit? What do you got? This is your time now.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot for having me. It's wonderful up here, and just can't say enough for the show and what you've meant over the years. You know, started with the ticket in 2006 for the Miami Heat debacle there, and so it seems like a good bookend. To end with the Kyrie ACL was pretty much the end of my Mavs fandom. I'm a data scientist. I work for an agricultural company up in Denton. I also run a small juniors volleyball club. So if you need an expert on the North Texas region junior girls volleyball circuit, I'm your man.
So it's like a club league?
Yep.
You have
There's about 15,000 juniors in the North Texas region. It's one of the most competitive regions in the nation.
Can I ask you something that you better say yes to?
Okay.
You have a daughter?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do. Started coaching a long time ago.
Can I tell you my thought process?
Sure.
You're not going to ask him just in case he does.
Here's the thing. I assumed daughter, and then I thought, but what if he says I did, and to honor her?
Ooh.
And then I let it go, and then I'm like, but I do want to know if he has a daughter. Dan's going to ask.
Yep. No, I do, and she's here and playing, and I actually coached a long time before my volleyball career started at Green Hill Volleyball.
Oh, cool.
Home of Jared Sandler and Mayor Eric Johnson. I actually played volleyball with Jared's brother, Darren. So I was coaching boys for a long time. It's a very fledgling industry, y'all can imagine, in North Texas. And with the daughter, cut over to the girls. And so we run a very small club, but have a lot of fun and still very competitive.
That's awesome.
I was shocked at how big volleyball is.
I'm really hoping.
Once my kids got into sports and
I'm
everything.
kind of surprised yours didn't play. Like, it feels like volleyball and
she was pretty
softball
short.
are similar, no?
She was short,
It's
though.
just the height thing.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of her friends ended up just quitting softball and then playing volleyball, and a couple of her friends got scallies.
Yeah.
That's a interesting path to college tuition if you can get your daughter to get
Sounds
into
like we know the guy to hit up.
It's a massive industry. You know, there's a complete takeover of the Dallas Convention Center right now. 4 weekends of qualifiers. So it's just a major industry, but super fun and competitive
Inside?
at all levels. Absolutely, yeah. This
Indoors,
is indoor. This is indoor.
There you go.
volleyball.
My fellow coaches who would be texting me from a volleyball tournament while I'm at a softball tournament would be laughing at me, just like I'm out. It's 1,000,000 degrees outside. They've been inside all day.
Or the soccer parents.
Mm-hmm.
The outside at a soccer game.
Yeah, in January.
Yeah, it's
windy.
tough, too. So what does your work entail?
Well, outside of volleyball, I'm a data scientist for an agricultural company, and so our company develops software for in-house use for R&D and production of seeds and agricultural products. And somewhere buried inside there is a lot of math and geography, which is my piece of it. So.
I asked him about, we were talking about the woolly mammoths and the dire wolf from Colossus. Because, like, Rando has a very Dr. Malcolm from Jurassic Park thing going on to me.
Take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
It's not just the glasses. Like, he's smart, but might kick your ass type thing. Don't want to find out. And he said that his company's actually involved in, like, the technology involved there.
It came out of agriculture, and it allows you to do a lot of testing of genetics without putting it in the field. You can imagine if you have to grow 1,000 plants in a field, it takes a lot of space and time and money. If you can do that research in a lab a lot faster, it's really advancing agricultural technology.
Yeah, because, I mean, there's a lot of different, schools of thought on this, but the idea initially behind the gene editing was that you could, like, solve the world's hunger problem eventually with fake food. Not fake food, but you know what I'm saying, that you could essentially you wouldn't need the same level of soil, water, sun, cultivation, like you could feed through that.
Yep.
Okay, your mind went to food. My mind, I was thinking like that, had they genetically changed pot? Because they say now, they will say, oh, today's pot is so much stronger than it's better. Is it because we have identified seeds and...
Not on the GMO level, but yes, just on the selective breeding. So just choosing the genetics
but
that
they
you
haven't
breed
gone
together.
into the seed and...
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't think they have to, right? I think it's pretty easy with the level of science they have now for them to isolate like the psychoactive parts of the plant. And that's 100% true, by the way. I'm not trying to be an old man, but weed was not supposed to be like this. So know what you're buying out there, folks.
All right.
But no, I don't know. I think it's super interesting that the same guy that's like, what if we edited the genes of this corn to feed tribes is like, what if you put it in her butt and called it caboosing?
You brought a huge, this mason jar.
I have a gummy thought too. Yeah.
This mason jar is at least a gallon, right?
Yeah,
a
here
1
we
gallon
go.
mason
He
jar.
walked in.
It's a pretty big one.
With
It's a tea iced tea spout.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And this is sort of Dan's gift for the day. I thought he would like it because he doesn't have to keep it.
You brought that goldfish to leave here?
No. Well,
Potentially?
yes
Okay.
or no. Potentially, yes.
Can't deny his gift.
Yeah. Well,
be rude.
I think it's not rude if I give him the option. I thought he would appreciate the bailout. Like, I don't have to keep that because I'm taking your kid's fish. But my kid named this fish Fishler just because of the destruction of any other fish that enters his tank.
Okay.
Kind of Dan at the ticket, slowly picking off. And so I just thought with the holiday season that he should come. I didn't know if any sit-in had brought a pet or an animal.
First one.
No one has ever brought a live pet. One guy brought his 3 kids.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what do we? I'll keep a fish here.
I got a couple other gifts, and we can talk about setting you up an aquarium. My sister's a professional.
Oh, wait. So, wait. Jake says, I'll keep the fish
Here.
like,
Here. Precisely here.
what a jerk.
How big? How old is this fish? Is it a year old? Was it?
He's a monster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've had him a couple of years, and
Okay.
nobody stands a chance around him.
And they live that long.
Yep.
They'll live
Yep.
a couple years.
Yep. Especially if they feed on the carcasses of their friends and neighbors.
Yeah, I'm going to allow you to take it back.
Okay.
But
Dan. I'm sorry Dan's being rude.
Couple other gifts for the boys.
Or I'll just kill it when
Kind
it
of
leaves.
kid-themed here. I wanted to give you something so that Brooks would never forget.
Let's see.
Dude, perfect mouth.
Dallas Mavericks dad.
I love it. Yeah.
And then this one, I had Nora in mind, just knowing you would never wear it for
Okay.
a few levels, but I thought she would appreciate it.
It is a T-shirt of some sort.
Yeah.
Show the
Says,
camera.
This is what space smells like.
So we have a lot of
This is-
things going on.
yeah.
The space, of course, is pretty obvious. Nora calling out her dad for farting in public
That's
as
right.
well. And most importantly, that is a lyric for a
Dang,
Fish song.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That is
yeah.
very deep. She would wear this
Yeah.
too.
The best was explaining this shirt and the quality of this gift to my daughter, and she's like, "Oh, does Jake love like space and fish?" I was
Yeah.
like, "No, he hates those two things most of all." And her just realizing like the difference of like how we show affection for
Yes.
people by calling out the things that they hate the most rather than what they love. So,
Yeah, I mean Friday I think I got a Frasier gift. So this is all tracking perfectly.
yeah.
So how old's the daughter?
She's 14.
When do you if someone's going to get into, hey, I'm competitive
Right.
volleyball, how early would you know?
4th, 5th grade is kind of a good entry time. You know, you like to start early. Obviously, volleyball requires such a kind of specific skill set, and a lot of people having that skill set that 7, 8 years old is kind of tough. Some people start early, get discouraged, but really 9, 10.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And if we run through closing remarks?
You guys got any questions?
I mean, it's your remarks.
Hey, is the world like, how's the climate? Are we doing okay?
We're doing great. We're doing just
Everything
just
doing
great.
better?
Yep.
Okay.
If genetically altering food is such a great thing, how come everybody says like it's like Europe food is better or healthier and all that kind of stuff?
Well, with mass production, you're probably sacrificing some quality. right? In the mid-50s, about 50% of the population provided for agriculture. Today, it's about 2%. So we are serving a huge amount of people with very little man hours. So this is all technology, and you're not going to be able to customize as much. So if these smaller farms and properties in Europe are able to do more organic practices, staying local, then perhaps that's improving their flavor. To be quite honest, the industry is not selecting for flavor as much as volume and consistency, right? More the amount of yield and being able to have predictive returns every year. So perhaps some of the breeding selections are not favoring flavor as much.
So what's your title?
I'm a data science manager. So I have a team. I run an analytics team that does the mathematics inside of our software.
And what's your first job out of college type thing?
It was pretty much this. I was a little late to the job career. Finished a PhD at 39, and I've been there about 10 years.
When you were 39 years old?
Yep.
What were you doing before that?
Coaching volleyball, teaching mathematics.
Getting a PhD. I drove a grease truck. I worked at a county adult mental care facility. I've got a random resume.
Okay.
It was that grease truck when I started listening to the ticket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who doesn't have a clue what that is?
Driving a grease truck?
Yeah.
Collecting grease, for biodiesel, the recycled restaurant grease and stuff. Yeah.
So somebody does that.
Yep. You got a long tube with a vacuum. And
Didn't
you just
Homer Simpson do
suck
that?
it up. Yep.
Interesting.
He had Mr. Plow. Did he have a grease truck?
What am I
too?
thinking of? There was some cartoon or something that was. They wanted to make money. Was it South Park? They were siphoning all that. They would go to the places and siphon the grease.
I think it was a South Park episode.
Okay, well, this is really taking off here.
I did have one gummy thought, though.
Okay, hit me.
And it might border to Jake's category of things that we can do now that Trump. But Indiana, this is still happening, right? Like just think about the lineage of the name of the state of Indiana. And how we've arrived and stayed there.
That's a good one.
And just doubling down on your known mistake, right? It's okay, Nico. You can just say we can go in a different direction. And I've got a couple progressive friends from Indiana, and I talked to them about this, and they said they've never heard of it. They've never thought of it.
I've never thought of it. Until you said something just now.
All the wokeness. And now that Trump's here, they don't have to do anything. They just skip that whole. 100%. So, shout out to the Hoosiers.
Lard of the Dance, Season 10, Episode 1. Homer and Bart try to make money by selling used
Simpsons
grease.
did it.
All right, this has been fun.
Was that a drop?
Adios, mofo.
We gotta go
Thanks, man.
before this becomes a zoo.
Thank you for watching my video. Subscribe and type for my name if you want to watch more of my videos.
Nothing but his voice stands tall with those bedroom eyes that make the pennies fall. He knows how to handle every baseball call. Jared Sandler on the Dumb Zone, y'all.